Hey folks, what's going on? I'm pleased to announce that we already have one thumbs down. We haven't even started the show. That's awesome. That shows you're doing something right when people really hate you. Oh boy. But I see 31 likes. I see 65 people in the chat. What's going on with that? Y'all waiting? You don't want to waste that like. Might be liking some garbage. Like, I have refined taste, sir. Lord Wellington never gives a like unless it's up to his satisfaction. And his standards are quite high, believe me. Was Lord Wellington afraid? No, he was never afraid. Hunting velociraptors in the Congo to chasing giant spiders in Mumbai. Never afraid, but giving someone an unauthorized like could be a little dicey. Can't do that. I'm not going to go on a limb there. John, thank you for your donation. I appreciate it. You were like always there. I appreciate your... Letting the chat room fill up a little bit. How's everybody's 4th of July? Thank you for that, Charles. Charles says, who smashed the like button? I appreciate it. How am I doing? I'm doing fine. We got a lot of good content that we've already recorded, and we got hours of content coming out. The Fridays are going to be rocking. This Friday, we're going to be doing alien abduction. It's going to be specific, though. It's going to be a little bit of Dogman in there, too. I'm not going to lie to you. It's kind of weird stuff that goes on, but the alien abduction is going to be focusing on the mantis type creatures. We've gotten enough reports of those things to do a couple episodes, but so we got that coming up, and on Friday, you know, Jody Cook has some very interesting stuff on the celestial nature of these creatures. I don't know that he subscribes to it 100%, but he's gathered some information about Dogman possibly being a ultra-terrestrial, extraterrestrial, interdimensional, whatever you want to call it. But I'd definitely like to get him on to talk about that. I think the NADP is going to the LBL. I know that Barton Nunley and the Hendersons are going to be in the LBL this weekend. And I did get an invite from that, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm not going to be able to make that because I have so much work going on. But if I ever got the time, I would like to go and do something somewhere, anywhere, just be able to leave my area of operation so I can enjoy my life. Is Dogman probing, folks? Not that I'm aware of. They just happen to show up, but Lucas Williams' Facebook is for the birds. Well, unfortunately or fortunately, we have several groups in Facebook. Mine is Paranormal Round Table. We also have Paranormal Encounters and Paranormal Lounge. Paranormal Lounge is Nellie's, and Paranormal Encounters is Mushu. and Whisper to a Scream, which is Ryan's group. And then we have a Josh Turner fan page created by my friends over in Germany, Phil Stern. And there's a few people on there that are very frequent contributors, Curtis and Chris. Thank you guys for all that you do. And I've begun to help grow a couple of side projects, sister groups, one of which is the Cryptid Studies Institute. They have a group, a Facebook group. I've been sending out invites. I would send out a lot more per day, but I'm only allowed so many, and then I'm spamming. And Facebook doesn't like that. Facebook is also threatening to, I guess, terminate my group, which is over 6,000 members at this point, because we've gotten some trolls that have gotten in there and started arguing with people and cursing, amongst other things. Basically picking fights and have really started to agitate some of the other listeners. Anthony had to remove one person. She was just attacking people. Another person got in there and made some comments in the fan group. I think there was that one, and then I believe it was on one of the roundtable groups, if it was the Paranormal Lounge or something. But basically saying that I had bullied a certain podcaster, which I'm not even going to give him any more airtime, but I was like, that's not the case. But those people, they're so brainwashed, they're going to believe what they're going to believe. Somebody spent all day attacking me and then goes and posts something about how I won't let it go, which is just, it blew our minds that somebody could be that ridiculous. Not that they would stoop that low, because that's pretty much a given, but that they would, it just blew our minds that they would be that ridiculous, and try to get away with that. But it takes all kinds, I guess. But anyways, their followers are pretty rabid, and they like to go on the attack, and they defend their masters at all, against all enemies, foreign and domestic. They have their own little army. And sometimes it's fun, to mess with these people, because they're so ridiculously over the top, in their things that they do and say. And the things that they do and say can easily be refuted too. You're just like, dude, I could easily refute all of what you're saying. I mean, I could just show you, the proof right here. But it doesn't seem to be what they're looking for. They're just angry, like an angry hive. And that's fine. prtpodcast.com, that is the website. Josh Turner at prtpodcast.com. That is my email address. We have a mailing address, which I still have to read because I'm still not 100%. That water right there. Thank you. 6001 West Palmer Lane, Suite 370, PMB 131, Austin, Texas 78727. Palmer is Parmer. So that's our mailing address. Okay. We're going to read off our Patreons, our $10 Patreons. K01, E Marie 84, Super Hornet 1, Kevin, Debbie Wolf, Extreme Reality Check, and that is their name on here. Histotech, James Estrada, Tim Bernard, Ricardo Herrera, Barry, Titan, Chronological, Dead Man Walking, Guy, Don Wells, Melissa Panay, Derek Tribble, Andrea Krask, Patrick Nickerson, Shannon, Joyce Brunette, Wendy Page Williams, Barbara Blindy, Martin Hertel, Terry Fusler, Chris Clough, Curtis Turner, Philip Morn, Alexander Murphy, Matthew Durgo, Chris Smith, and Ralph Ayu. Thank you for being loyal supporters of the show. Thank you so much for continuing to support us. You guys are great. It's really it's amazing the support I get that we do as a group. And thank you so much for that. Trying to get some information out there. I wanted to talk about a few things, but I'm waiting for the chat room to fill up a little bit. A couple things I wanted to go over. Let's see what we got here. Everybody needs to, if you haven't already, oh man, I'm back. Got to stretch it out. Go and join our Facebook groups so you can keep abreast of everything. Paranormal Round Table, all my paratroopers out there. Your alpha has spoken. Who are these people that go around saying that? Like, I'm not calling out any one individual, but I see a lot of people doing it. And some people that are actually, I'm not friends with, great, but I know who they are. They're not bad people. I just don't understand why they call themselves that. Like, I'm not your leader or your boss. I'm just a podcaster, and they should understand that that's what they are too. I don't think I should start referring to you as your alpha. I think that's silly. I think it's silly, Paul. What do you think, Anthony? Should I start telling everyone that I'm their alpha? I mean, he may decide that that's what we need to do. I don't know. He's kind of my manager. I don't know. Yeah, I hear you, Amy. She says I will get to Facebook. Just not a Facebook person. Yeah, there's a lot of people who aren't, but I just say, hey, join just to be a part of our going ons. So you can stay abreast of what's going on in the world of Paranormal Round Table. It's a weird angle here. I don't know why this part of the chair is being seen more than the other part. Or should I turn this way like this? Maybe it's the camera. I don't know. Is it the camera that does that? Well, it looks like, you can see this part of the chair. I'm doing this so I can drive people with OCD crazy. You can see this part and not this part of the chair. Is there a reason for that? No, you can't. Not on camera. Not that it matters, but I have OCD. And so I guess it does matter. So anyways, folks, we're going to talk some cryptids. We're going to talk some... we can talk whatever, ghosts, alien abduction, whatever you want to hear, whatever you want to talk about. This is the live stream. Typically, we do the live stream for the show, and a lot of people, when I give them the information for the show, they'll be like, "Yeah, I watched a little bit," and that kind of always makes me kind of feel, well, kind of crestfallen because they're not really getting the show. If you're watching just the live stream and that's what you're doing, you're missing a whole world of the PRT, because the PRT experience, it really revolves around the Friday episodes. We did do a lot of work with the LBL, and like somebody just said, how's Roger in Iowa doing? We did a lot of work with the LBL thing, and so that was an ongoing like series that we did on the live stream. But that's kind of over now, and so we're just going back to the regular Q&As. But other stuff will pop up, and I had the opportunity to do some work with a another podcaster, maybe do some stuff with the live stream, and I thought, well, I could do that, or I could just keep on doing the Friday stuff and focus on that. My main focus on is catching up with the Friday episodes, and not just sitting up here blabbing on the Tuesday. But we're definitely going to have some different stuff. Trying to come up with some more work that we can do for the Tuesday live stream, so we're not just doing a Q&A. We will have a topic that we can all discuss. I met a guy at the gym who's a power lifter, and he thought I was a power lifter, and I guess because I lift a lot of weight, but I am not technically a bodybuilder or a power lifter. I do like to train and punch and kick, and I like to be quick. And I don't want to get too heavy, so I don't train myself because I can put on muscle really fast, and I'm pretty strong. That's, once again, it's not bragging; it's just the truth. On my recently created fan page that Phil Stern was nice enough to put on there for me, I posted a video of myself. And my wife actually posted the one, the video. Anthony sent it to her right after I did it, which was late last night, and it ended up on my feed. On my, I was tagged, and it was put on my Facebook page, and I haven't put it. I don't think I put it in the Paranormal Round Table group yet, but what it is a video, and there's another video out there too that's of me doing about, I think it was 495, or maybe depending upon it's either 495 or 505, but I was doing 3 sets of 3 on the incline, which is it's pretty hard to do. Incline is typically people's weakest point on their chest. Well, this fly machine, it's a flyweight machine, which you use plates. It basically uses plates. It isolates your chest. So you're not able to use this part right here to help you bench, because my bench is actually stronger than that. The most I ever threw up was 660 pounds, and I had several witnesses to that. But I've also done 280. I've also done 585 two and a half times. That's on the regular bench, and doing straight bar, you gotta be careful because you could hurt your rotator cuffs, and so. I've done a lot of weight on squats. I'm getting my legs, my knees are strong again to where I can do more. I've done easily 1,000 pounds on that, like just no bull. I mean, my squat is pretty strong, and on the leg press, I think the most I got was 16 to 1,800. I don't know how. It was a ridiculous amount of weight, like all the plates, and then two people that weighed between 250 and 265. That's a true story. I'm not making that up. I'm thinking about posting a video to prove that, because I had people saying that they don't believe I could do all this. And I'm like, whatever, dude. And I got hands too. I'm going to make a video showing you, just so you people think that I'm playing around, that I'm not who I say I am. And I'm not doing it to prove. My wife asked me if I was doing it to prove something. I was like, I'm not doing it to prove anything to anybody, just to myself, that I could still do it at my age. I'm 45. And anyway, the video that was made, if you go to my Facebook and you go and take a look at it, it shows 2 of 3 different sets that I did. They were 5 reps each, and it was I think it was 610 altogether, actually, is what we came up with. So it's 610 pounds, and I did 3 sets of 5. And on that, the grip, the way that you have to do it, you have to use your chest. You can't cheat and just try to push it with your triceps and your shoulders, which you get to do when you're doing the regular bench, which is why I can do more on the bench. I've always believed that I could do over 700. That day I got 660. That was only because I had done 585 and twice, and I had done six, like I think 30 or something 620. I don't remember what it was. I had done that once or once and a half, and yeah, it was pretty crazy, dude. So I actually, when I got to 660, I was kind of burned, but I never went back and did the 700, which I always believed that I could do. And this guy says, I'm just showing off now. I'm not. I'm just trying to show you there was a video that was made, and I'm just trying to tell you that this is the truth. I'm not making this up. And you go to my Facebook, my nephew videoed it, and it's on there. And that's, and so it just should show you that I'm not full of crap, because I've talked the talk, I walk the walk. I don't want people to think that, this guy's just up here, oh, he's just a big fat guy, he's talking much crap. It's not the case, and I do train. So, I mean, there's all these people who don't understand. They don't live in my world. They don't understand. I have more interest than just cryptids and ghosts, which nothing wrong with that either. And anyways, we just have as far as the Facebook group and stuff goes, we were given a warning. That's just that by Facebook, that we were in violation because of the people that were in the group that were talking stuff. Okay, and they weren't our regular people. They were people that had joined the group, I think, just to do that. So, just wanted everybody to be on notice to please keep your what you say to one another, to like stop the arguing, and the arguing is not the problem. It's the profanity toward one another. When you get mad and you curse at one another, Facebook's ears perk up, and I'm sure I'm not one of their favorite people. I have caught a ban once or twice here and there, and so you just have to be careful what you say. Okay, because Facebook has its own way of doing things, and so does YouTube, and so does all these others. So you have to just be real careful. Yeah, Brooks says just boot them out. Yeah, that's what we're doing. I mean, we try to left and right booting them out, but we don't want to just boot one person if they're regular because they made a mistake. But we need to be careful about those mistakes, because we don't need, And I just wanted to clarify that we're not calling out any of our regular listeners or people who participate in the groups. It's not like that. It's just we have certain people who are repeat offenders causing problems, and we hope to have gotten it under control and restored some order. Dick Richards says the original UFO at Roswell landed in a town called Corona. Look it up. Is that true? I have no idea. I think we should all be worried about human-animal hybrids and what is being created in these labs. Dogman sounds like something created, or chimeras you talk about could be used against us. That's a good topic. Let's go with that. Let me ask you a question. Do you guys believe that these things were already created a long time ago, like as in the Nephilim, the Watchers, and that they were here, but now the governments of the world or whoever is taking them and turning them into something different, something more virulent, something stronger? I mean, is that what you think is going on? Susan Young, thank you for that donation. I appreciate it. It says, good evening, Wolf, Nelly, Anthony, Ryan, and PRT family. It says here, if government had them, what is the end game? Scare random people that are easily dismissed. Can't be that silly of a big plan. I don't believe that's what's going on. I mean, if you look at the David Paulides, the missing 411, which is just one outlet, there are people that go missing all the freaking time. Here's another one. They want us off our land, squeezed into cities. Very possible. That is very possible. So I had a conversation with somebody. Which was pretty interesting. Everybody knows who Matt Moneymaker is? Everybody answer me in the chat if you know who that is. Lucid Void says they're not. Lucid Wolf says they're not Nephilim. Why do you say that? Give me a reason. Give me a reason why you say that. My hair was starting to bother me. Says here, I absolutely believe they've been part of Agenda 21 for a long time to scare us out of the forest where they can control us. What is Agenda 21? Explain to the listeners, please. Paul Silence says, nope. So I guess you don't know who Matt Moneymaker is. Matt Moneymaker, I don't have much of an opinion on the guy, but I had a conversation with him yesterday. He is from a show called Finding Bigfoot. He's also part of the BFRO, or he might be the founder. I don't know the whole. Anyway, I struck up a conversation with him yesterday. He answered me almost immediately, which was cool. I mean, I said, "Can you spare a minute?" And Matt said, "For what?" And I said, "I wanted to speak with you on your opinions about Bigfoot and Dogman." Now, that's quite a loaded question. There were in a few of the groups that they somebody called him Matt Money Taker. Okay. Somebody posted in one of the groups, I believe it was one of the largest groups, it was Dogman Believers Only, but I think it was in another group too. I'm in literally 100 groups, so it's keeping up with all these groups. And they range in subject from giants, the Nephilim, Mandela effect, UFO groups. I'm in a bunch of ghost paranormal, just all kinds of groups. Some specialize in Bigfoot, some are specialized in Dogman, some are Dogman and Bigfoot. There's Dogman Believable Evidence. There's Dogman Werewolf Discussion, which is Phil Stern and Della Carter. I love those people. Love those people dearly. I'm in a ton of groups. I'm in the BFRO in the group. I'm also, it says they do not believe in the woo BFRO. Well, that's fine because it doesn't appeal to the base out there. They want to believe that there's a giant monkey man running around. We just haven't been able to find it. But anyway, Matt Moneymaker, he has a show called Finding Bigfoot, or he's affiliated with the show. He's on the show. So I said, I want to speak with you on your opinions on Bigfoot and Dogman. He says, no, thanks. And I said, okay, I do a show called Paranormal Round Table. Maybe you've heard of it. Maybe you haven't. I just want to see if you'd give me a minute, but I see you're busy. And he's like, I don't have much to say about Dogman. And I was like, well, I was told that you said Dogman doesn't exist. I don't know if it's true or not that you said this, but I thought it might be a good idea to hear it from you. And maybe you can explain your stance or hear me out, as I have not seen Bigfoot, but I believe they exist. I have, however, seen what may have been a Dogman. It was definitely an upright canid type creature. He asked me what part of the country. I told him Texas, and then we kept on talking, and we went back and forth. Seems like a nice enough guy. I don't have a problem with him personally. I am trying to get him to maybe come on the show, maybe talk. I don't know if he'd be willing to do that. If anybody can help facilitate that or knows him better than I do, I would like to get what his belief is exactly. Why he believes that Dogman doesn't exist, because I was told that he said that Dogman doesn't exist. And then it was in a couple of the Facebook groups I'm in, and a lot of people were pretty down on him for that. So I just wanted to know what his thoughts were on that, and if he would listen to some encounters that we had to maybe help them understand that I think a lot of the Bigfoot out there are being misidentified. And vice versa. I think people are seeing Dogman and they're thinking that's a Bigfoot, and people are seeing Bigfoot and they think it's a Dogman. I would like to bridge the gap with a lot of these other researchers and a lot of these other podcasters, television show hosts, all these different types of folks that are doing all these different things. So we could work together to try to figure out what's going on. Maybe we could get some really interesting information. I was talking to a woman who is, oddly enough, just a few days ago, who had the day before been talking to Bobo. And Bobo from Finding Bigfoot, which was, there it is again, had said to her that Bigfoot will not hurt you. And that is absolutely not my belief. I'm not going to sit up here and say that I 100% believe. Oh, God. Oof. I had to kind of hold it back there. 100% that I believe or don't believe in Bigfoot. I didn't get much sleep, folks. I had a long day. All right, what was I going to say? I didn't want to say I believe or don't believe that they will or will not hurt you, but the truth, if I had to come out and say it, is that I believe, yes, absolutely, they will hurt you. If I had to err on the side of caution. I'm never going to get on the phone with someone and, it's and then tell someone you're perfectly fine. Your children and your grandchildren are having incidents with a large hairy creature that may or may not be aggressive, but you know what? You're fine. Go ahead and continue to go fishing in that area, and Bigfoot's not going to hurt you. And then something happens and somebody goes missing or gets hurt or whatever. I'm just not down with that. There's no way I'm going to be okay with that and tell somebody that you're going to be fine. Because I can't give you that. I can't give you that reassurance. I think people like certain podcasters that do that are very irresponsible. I think people who go on TV and say that these things won't hurt you, it's just not true. I mean, it's just the absolute not true. I mean, Ryan, I see Ryan's in the chat now. We did the show together on the Ginosqua and the Gugwee. I wish I could move those. The audio was so horrible on those, and its own whisper to a scream. But the audio was very, very bad. I wish that we could move those episodes over to. I would release them on the Paranormal Round Table. That's not knocking you, Ryan. It was just we had technological issues. You had the audio problems or whatever. But those shows do have good information. Ryan did a bunch of research on those and the Ginosqua, and I gave stories that kind of could fit into that profile of a Ginosqua, and then the same thing with the Gugwee. Those to me are two types of very vicious and aggressive Sasquatch. And if the native legends are to be believed, you know, if it's to be believed, you have to be very careful. Getting some of the comments here. Caroline's, what does it say? Caroline. I can't read your last name. Start says those were great shows. Thank you. Looking back, I wish we would have done those episodes on PRT and then move them. We could have done it from with our audio and then move them over to Ryan's channel instead of doing them, because I don't like doing shows with bad audio. And it's not Ryan's fault. I mean, it was just his first go round with trying to do it. You know, it was and it just it didn't come out real good. But if Ryan, if you're up for a phone call, maybe we could discuss the Gugwee. Maybe we could discuss the Ginosqua. If you're up for it, I thought maybe we could talk to the audience a little bit about that, since we did talk about that on your show. Seeing a lot of people are saying they haven't heard great things about Matt Moneymaker. I have no idea. I don't know the guy from Adam, other than I messaged him and he messaged me back like almost immediately. So that was nice of him. I mean, he didn't have to do that. I'm sure he gets bombarded with messages, and I'm sure he gets, people slamming him, and especially after the whole dog man doesn't exist thing. If he did say that, which he never admitted to me that he said that one way or the other. I agree with this one. It's not wise to stereotype any creature and say they're all peaceful or all dangerous. Be cautious at all times. So, Ryan, if you're available, hit me up. Message this other person real quick. Folks, I'm going to put you on a brief hold. I got to get up and do something really quick with this lighting. It's kind of starting to bother me. Sorry about that, folks. Just getting everything set up. Change this freaking lighting. I don't know if that's better. Yeah. How about that? We'll just go with that. And that thing looks like it's about to fall over. So we're going to call Ryan Tremblay, one of my good friends and allies, and we're going to talk about what we know about Gugwee and Ginosqua. In case you haven't heard the shows we did on A Whisper to a Scream. Did you already place the call? I guess we could just call him on that Facebook Messenger. Just that whenever that happens, it never doesn't sound good, and there's probably going to be problems. But oh well. Here we go. Hey, man. So I was going to try and call you through the phone, but I guess we couldn't figure out how to make it work. So we're just going to have to do it through the computer, which I don't like doing the Facebook Messenger thing because there's always some kind of something that happens. So yeah, exactly. So what I wanted to talk about, since we were on the subject of Ginosqua and Gugwee, and I had somebody, a pretty famous individual, telling one of my witnesses that Bigfoot won't hurt her, and yeah, and Anthony, you gonna tweak it?
Yeah, because they can't hear Ryan.
So I guess nobody can hear Ryan. That's great. Says here can't hear Ryan. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, yeah, I was. Is he coming through? It says no Ryan. Try speaking.
Echo. Is there anything yet? There's an echo on my end. Nothing?
Nothing.
Nobody's hearing me yet? Okay.
Nobody's hearing Ryan yet. That's great. Now we don't even know how to make phone calls on this show. That's awesome to know.
We're devolving here.
It's going through. I guess we figured out it was one of the audio switches here. I was looking at that, and there was like 3 or 4 of them on, and one of them wasn't on. So, can everybody hear Ryan now?
You guys hear me okay? All right. Yeah, people are hearing me.
There he is. Okay. So talking to these individuals, and then I had another guy who wants to do it. He's an up and coming wannabe podcaster guy, and I'm not saying you're a wannabe. I don't mean like you're. I mean that you're trying to break into the podcast field, and he was asking me for advice and what he wanted to do, and he's also starting a group, and he wanted to start talking about cryptids and the paranormal just in general. And one of the things he was asking me about was like, who does he stay clear of? Who does he associate with? And the easy answer for that is I have no freaking idea. Because there's so many people in this business that you don't know who's who. Like there's so many people that are trying to do this and they're doing it because they want to make money at it. Okay.
Right.
Somebody just said Wolf sounds a little low and Ryan is loud. Is that the case there, Flacco? Everybody can hear me. Is Ryan louder than me?
I'm always loud, man.
Well, a lot of times it's the other way around, like with the audio, because the thing is, A Whisper to a Scream is a great podcast, and your material is second to none. It's awesome. You do great research, and I like doing the shows with you. The problem was the audio. You know, you were having some issues with the equipment and the audio and whatever. We do have you a better. You got a good phone now, better system, whatever set up. We just had to help you get some stuff going. You know, like I told people before, Ryan is not making money at this. He's living on a fixed income, and not putting your business out there. I'm just saying that, you know, you're not doing this, and you're doing, and this is not even something that you do for money. You're doing it. It's a hobby.
Yeah, it's for fun for me.
Yeah.
So.
It says here, once again, Ryan has loud volume and Josh is quiet. I don't understand. Can y'all, is my audio better? Is it louder?
It sounds okay on my end, but I don't know.
Yeah, you sound fine to me. Maybe adjust the volume. Somebody's Forrest answered. He said, yes, Wolf quiet and Ryan is echoey loud. That's why I wanted to talk to you on the phone, not on the messenger, because that's what happens when you talk to people on Messenger. You don't know what you're going to get.
My volume is pretty much low on my end, so.
Yeah, it says Ryan is at 30% louder. And then some people are saying they only hear me. No, Josh, you are not louder. Ryan is louder. Good God. Okay.
My mic's clear across the table, so.
It says Ryan sounds like his mic is very close to his mouth. Josh is clear. Ryan sounds a bit echo-ish.
It's the Facebook Messenger, guys.
Yeah, it's the Messenger, and you know, and I got some things I want to talk about, but we're having some issues here. Let me call you back.
Okay.
Okay, let's see what we can do.
All right, man.
Well, people are complaining that there's very echoey, and I can kind of hear it through my headphones. So I don't know what that is. Yeah, and no, and it's on because it's on his computer. So I'd like to be able to call him through the phone if that's possible. If there's no way to do it, then let's just scrap it. But
No, you can answer the messenger call on his phone.
Okay. So can you text him that? So we had some audio issues. Can y'all hear me loud and clear? Am I not loud enough? Because I always felt like I'm pretty loud. Now people are saying we sound fine. Ryan is no longer on the call. I was going to get him back on the call. And he said he wasn't even near the mic. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know why his audio is so much louder than mine. We had that issue when we were recording where my voice was louder and his wasn't. So there's always some audio issues. I don't know what's going on. It's just, you know, when I record in the studio for the Friday episodes, they come out crystal clear, clean. You know, we knock on wood. I mean, we do them good. The live streams can be a little sketchy. Sometimes you never know what's going on. I mean, it's like you have good sound and then you don't. So what I wanted to do was get Ryan on the show, and we could talk and answer some questions about the Gugwee and the Ginosqua, because there's all these people who believe that Bigfoot won't hurt you, and there's no knock on my friends that do believe that they are just forest people. They're living out there. I don't have anything. I'm not taking anything away from people who, you know. It says Dinah Russo says Josh sounds normal, but if I turn volume down, I can't hear Josh, and I'm not trying to complain. Yeah, it says here, yo Wolf, it's sound money. What does that mean? Somebody says it's actually a show about gremlins. I get the reference. So I'm going to try and let's see if Ryan, if you're listening, I'm going to try and call you. Answer your phone through the messenger. I'm going to try to call you through the messenger. Answer your phone, like for the messenger. Try calling him back. See if we can get this going here. See, because it sounds quiet in my headphones.
What's going on, man?
Did you answer it through the phone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So let's see if we can make this work.
Okay.
All right. Can people hear Ryan? Can you hear me?
Everything clear or? No, nothing yet.
Nobody's answering?
No, not yet.
How does it sound, Flacco? Are you in the other room listening?
All right. Now people are saying it sounds great. Perfect. All right, cool. We're good.
Okay, good. All right, so we got that going, folks. If you want to ask us any kind of questions about aggressive Bigfoot behavior, ask away, and that includes Dogman too. Like I've said before, I think that recently I had Brenda Armstrong on our show. That was on last Friday. Okay. She lives in an area that is kind of a weird area, like just to the, I guess it would be the west and north of her is a lot of Bigfoot activity. I would say the southwest of her is Bigfoot activity. The north, if you go further north, 40 miles to the northeast or so, 40, 50 miles, you get dogman behavior. And there's a state park not that far from there that I've gotten reports of both. One of the stories I got, and I'll give it to you right now on the show, which I was going to save this for an episode about Bigfoot. I was going to do one about Bigfoot attack, that people get attacked. There was a family, okay, they went on a picnic, and I wish I could be a little more specific about the area. Ryan, I'll tell you off air, and
Okay. Sounds good.
But that area, in fact, I'll text you the area so you can kind of look at it.
Okay.
And then you can tell me. There are multiple reports in that area.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, and this is in Texas. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can look this up, Ryan. And now that is about 40 miles west of where she's at. Now, I had a rash of sightings that dated back to the 80s in that area, and it was west of her or east of her. But the Bigfoot area in that park area, there is a very famous area. It's known for Texas and some other stuff. A lot of Texas history, let's put it that way. That's not where she lives. Now, this is further afield from where she lives. Now, I had gotten very little reports in the area where she's from, which is odd because that area is heavily wooded. I mean, it's just nothing but woods all around it and pastures. And the whole time I was ever been in that area, I've been in that area a lot, I maybe got one or two reports. But that state park area was just inundated with them. And then there was a town that basically one of my uncles stayed in for a long time. One of my dad's brothers, half brothers, who I barely talk to or ever see because he doesn't really talk to my dad because none of them really do. But like I used to see him a lot when I was growing up, and then they quit talking, and so I kind of lost touch with him. His son is roughly my age, and I haven't spoken to him in years, but there was a rash of Bigfoot sightings that went on in the 80s, and then it stopped, and then there was another like spurt of sightings, like what do you want to call it, like a flap, I guess, that went on. That happened in the mid-2000s, and I remember that specifically, and it was very similar, but it was definitely a Bigfoot, but it was aggressive. Like, it literally was like killing people's chickens. There was a goat and a dog that were ripped apart, literally just torn apart, and I know that I was almost 100% it was a Bigfoot from the descriptions I had gotten. The area of that state park, okay, there was a family that was camping out near the river, near a river. And they basically, long story short, they were there kind of late, and they got attacked by rocks. And one of their children got hit in the head with a rock. Not a pleasant experience. He was completely knocked unconscious. They took the child to a hospital. He was fine. Now, this is what I was told by a researcher when I explained to them about this incident. And I actually literally had these people, the dad in particular and his brother, willing to talk about this with this individual. This researcher told me, well, that's a very rare incident, and the fact that the child did not die says that the Bigfoot were not trying to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Bigfoot could have killed that child. Now, what this dad told the researcher, it was basically through me, and I was like, kind of going between until I set them up and said, "Here, you want to talk about it yourselves." The witnesses were like, "You know what? We're not getting anywhere with this person. I don't really, I don't want to deal with this person," and that was the end of it. Well, what transpired between this particular researcher and I will not say his name on the air, but kind of left a bad taste in my mouth and theirs too, was the defense of Bigfoot at all cost. That Bigfoot or Sasquatch or whatever these things are don't hurt people. And if they do, it's because you caused it in some way or another. And
I don't buy that.
That this small, it was a small rock too. It wasn't like a big old boulder, you know? And I said, well, what if it was a juvenile? What if it was a juvenile Bigfoot that was doing what mom and dad do? Oh, is this what we're doing? We're throwing rocks at these people? I'm going to throw a rock and bam, hit a kid in the head and knocked him unconscious. So what we were told at first, straight out the box, was that, okay, what happened was, thank you also, Susan, for that donation. I appreciate that. It says, like humans, some jerks, some want to be left alone, and some are curious, good days, bad days, very territorial. Elders say some use portals and some don't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's her comment. Here's what I'm going to say about this. His question was, well, how do you know it wasn't just kids out there by the river throwing rocks at y'all in the evening? And they're like, because we saw the creatures. There were 3 of them. 2 were much smaller than one that was a bigger one. So I was like, okay. The size differential between the largest creature and the smallest creature was significant, like 3 or 4 feet.
Wow.
So a smaller one hit a young kid in the head with a rock. Well, this happened, several years ago. It makes you wonder. Okay, is it one of those things where it was just a juvenile and it was just trying to imitate the dad or the older one? And then there was the whole, well, the rocks were thrown to make you leave the area, but they weren't trying to hurt you, because if they wanted to hurt you, they would have. But these things were a long ways away. Like they were literally across the river from where they were at, and they threw these rocks. Like, who's to say that their aim is all that great? They may have been trying to hurt these people. And
this is true.
From what I was also told was one of the rocks that may or may not have hit this said child in the head bounced up off the ground and came up and hit the kid in the head, which would have significantly slowed it not only changed the trajectory, but it significantly slowed it down to where it wasn't doing the damage that it could have done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't give a crap about your theories about how docile these things are and how they don't hurt people, just because these people, they bring a parade of witnesses on their shows that just talk about their encounters and how they survived them. Okay. I think we can all agree that Missing 411 has a lot to say about people going missing in these state parks. Why do you think that is? Do you think there's a mountain lion conspiracy going on and they're just out there ravaging the land and just snatching up people and taking them up into trees and they're disappearing and that's what's happening? Because I don't believe that.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
I mean, I was working out by Lake Travis, 2000 mid to late 2000s, and I had a very lucrative 2 or 3 accounts out there, and I had to do a lot of work out there, and there were mountain lions, and I had scorpion out there, and I left to go to 7-Eleven. Well, 7-Eleven's kind of hiked back into town, And he's like, all right, man, just get me this, and that, and I'll wait here. And he could hear in the canyons there 2 mountain lions going back and forth. Scared the crap out of him. He came back and was like, what is that? And I was like, those are mountain lions. He always talks about that like I left him there to be eaten. You know, he had weapons. He had like rocks and stuff. You know, and I'm like, dude, you have a stick, okay? Or at least part of a stick. It was like a twig, but still, you're a big tough guy. Your name's Scorpion. You know, scare him off. No, seriously. No, he had weapons. He was fine. But the thing is, you know, the mountain lions didn't hurt us. And then one day we were driving, doing our patrols in one of our patrol trucks, and what I think was a juvenile cougar, because it didn't look full grown, you know. It just leapt right out in front of the truck and ran right across the road. I mean, we saw it clear as day. I mean, I was like, oh, well, there's one right there. You know,
well, juveniles are always more rambunctious, though. You know, they got the hormone change going on. They're trying to assert their own dominance, so they're always a bit more brazen.
Yeah, and that's with all species. Just about all species, you know. And this cougar just jumped right, and it was pretty animal, you know. I said, oh, look at that, it's a freaking cougar. Looked to be a female, and it was a smaller one. And so, I mean, I'm sure there was probably somewhere in there was a mom and probably had a couple of kittens or whatever, cubs that grew up. But we were in their area all the time. Never got attacked. There was a huge pack of coyotes out there. I mean, huge. Probably 20 of them in a big pack. Walked through that property. Saw a bunch of them in the tree line one time, just kind of shadowing me. I didn't even feel like, oh, I'm terrified, they're going to attack me. I'm not scared of these animals. I'm just not. I'm too big, scared. I'm not going to be scared of these things. And so I'm just like, whatever. And I ignored them. I continued my rounds, locked the gates, and went back to my truck and did what I did. Never once felt threatened by those animals. Now, I've also never had rocks thrown at my head while I was having a picnic with my parents. So by Sasquatch. But that doesn't mean I don't believe these people. And so then the conversation turned to, well, you know, if they were having rocks thrown at them and this really happened, you know, they were in their area. They were in a picnic area. They weren't even like way deep down in there where, I mean, this could have happened to anybody. And now I got a report out of Washington of a kid and his dad playing baseball in their backyard, throwing the ball in the backyard. You probably heard this one too, Ryan. A Sasquatch throws a rock like this big, about the size of a man's fist. It's a size of a softball, bigger than a softball, which would be like that. And it hit and it went into a tree, like basically cutting through a tree.
Whoa!
And that almost hit the kid, the guy's the head of one of these, you know. And I'm going like, are you going to sit here and justify that and tell me that was, oh, it just, you know, if it wanted to hit you, it could. So now these Bigfoot are Nolan Ryan. Okay, they are literally Sandy Koufax. They're Roger Clemens, you know, Justin Verlander. They can throw a curveball, you know. And they can strike out Jose Abreu. They're just so great at what they do.
Well, you know, Josh, there's a lot to look at for people that say that Sasquatch won't be aggressive. Look at the Dennis Martin case. You know, people saw a Bigfoot carrying that little boy away. You know, so to sit there and say, "Oh, they're never going to hurt you. They're docile." That's stupid. That's foolish.
And Jamie, thank you for your donation. Yeah, and the fact that they say, well, they threw the rocks at them, but, you know, and I could do a whole show just about people having rocks thrown at them by these creatures. Some of them didn't actually see the creatures throwing the rocks, but I do believe that's what this was, because these were boulder-sized rock. This guy, he's my okay, let's put it this way. He's my friend's dad's buddy, and I always called him Chong. Ever since I was in my 20s, I knew this guy. And he's always like, hey, man, you know, what's up? You know, let's just smoke and be cool, you know. He's just one of those guys, you know. He lived in Oregon near the Columbia River, and swears up and down that he had seen one thing he said he saw repeatedly was a ghost of a person that used to live in the flat apartment, whatever he was staying in. But because we were talking about weird stuff one day, and he goes, but the weirdest thing that ever happened to me was I got attacked by a Sasquatch. And I said, did you see it? What did it look like? Well, no, I didn't actually see it. And so immediately I'm going like, okay, this dude's done way too much, whatever, and smoked too much, whatever. But he was like, but this thing was lobbing huge boulders into the lake or into the river at me. And that's a dead giveaway. I mean, like I said, how big were they? He said, dude, I was in a canoe and this thing was like almost hitting the canoe. And he was like, these things were about half the size of the canoe. It was unbelievable. Whatever was throwing these things, it looks they had a catapult.
Okay? They're known to
trebuchet.
That's not the first story I've heard like that.
Oh, there's a ton of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so he threw this boulder. They threw these boulders. Now, my grandfather's and one of his brothers claimed that they were fishing in the San Gabriel and something was lobbing huge boulders off of a ridge at them until they left.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother, till the day she died, always said she thought it was something supernatural, possibly a Bigfoot. There had been Bigfoot in that area. She didn't really know what to make of it. I mean, she said they didn't see it, they saw like the silhouette of something large, like a really large man. My grandfather had a way of just explaining away things. The only thing he never could really explain away was the weird hyena, the kind of hyena cryptid you saw. They saw the same thing right outside of Alexandria, Louisiana, when they were driving a truck.
Nice.
And so that was, they couldn't explain these boulders being thrown. My question to you and to the audience here listening, if Sasquatch is so benign and they're so benevolent and they're such good forest people, and you give them smoke and they're cool and they take gifts and whatever, why are they always trying to kill people with rocks? Why are they seen abducting people? Why are they doing the things they do? And why
kind of break it down like you did with humans, Josh?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's good ones. I think there's bad ones. I think there's some that are more hyper aggressive. There's some that are just kind of like humans. Some that see us as food. I mean, look at the Bowman incident, the trapper that was killed by Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not really a case of them being gentle now, is it? Then you pair it up with Dennis Martin and, the Native American stories that I've been researching so much.
And I wanted to get into that. I wanted to ask you a question, Ryan. Like for the folks listening at home, since we're talking about this, my first episode, my first Friday night episode back 2 weeks ago, which will be 2 weeks on Friday, but like that's when we dropped it. It was what I think it's called Bigfoot Attacks. Or what was it called, Anthony? You named it. I don't know. I don't even know what he named it. I gotta actually, I can't believe this. I gotta go look and see what my own show's name is, but it's we'll see what he called it.
Yeah, I do think there's some that are like us in a way, though. There can be some really just overly aggressive ones. They're jerks, and they hunt humans for fun. But
yeah, the past stalked by Sasquatch. Okay, that's the story of a childhood friend that I had that I hadn't seen in years, and I couldn't really talk about the story until I got all the details. But my wife now, she's had a Sasquatch encounter. No, she had an ethereal dogman encounter, but she had a physical Sasquatch encounter that was very benign, according to her. And that's something that I'm waiting. I'm going to let her talk about that at some point whenever she's ready.
That'd be great.
And but there are people who have had supposedly benign encounters with these things, and they tend to take the stance that well, my encounter involved them being nice, I mean,
I think that's where the mistake comes in, Josh. When people have the pleasant encounters, they just think every single species is going to be, pleasant and gentle like their encounter was. And you can't let people fall into that category. Just because one encounter was friendly and nobody was harmed, you can't say it's going to happen the same way next time.
Yeah. And my point to this family, and I only talked to the dad and his brother briefly, was that they're not all benign and they're not all bad. From what I've heard, there's both. But there are some researchers out there and some podcasters who absolutely take a stance that these things are gentle, benevolent forest people, and they do no wrong. Like, it's, oh, they tore that man's leg off. They gently tore his leg off. Well, they tore his leg off because, they wanted to help him, win a one-legged race in the next festival that he was going to be at the fair.
He got a splinter in his foot.
Yeah. And it could have been worse. They could have taken both legs.
They could have beat him with his own.
Yeah, they could have just ate him alive, but they didn't. So, and then the same thing with Dogman. It's like, okay, they attack people and try to rip them out of their cars, and they're like, oh, they're just confused by the noise of the car. They're not going to hurt you. So my thing is, if you are going to tell people, okay, and I think it's very irresponsible of these people for them to go and they tell people that these things will not hurt you. I think it's terrible. I think it's an awful thing you're doing, because I don't believe in fear mongering and playing up the fear and going like, oh, we should just be living in terror. You better keep an assault rifle, in your hand at all times, because at any moment a giant ape is going to come out and try to destroy you, or some sort of Neanderthal humanoidal creature is going to, shoot. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that we should be, whatever. I do believe that we should exercise caution when we go out into the forest or the woods, whatever. But I don't. Absolutely. But by the same token, I don't think you got to be like, there's a Sasquatch and jumping out of a tree, and they're coming out of the woods to just kill and eat us. But for any researcher, and I'll challenge any one of you out there to sit there and tell witnesses, people that I've talked to, that these things won't hurt you, is just the height of folly. It's just so, I just can't even wrap my mind around it. It's like, what are you doing?
Well, that's foolish to do. I mean, that's like saying that rattlesnakes, a rattlesnake isn't going to hurt you. Sure, you can pass one by, it might not bite you. Mm-hmm. You pass it again, it might strike you that time. So it's whatever the mood the thing is in.
Yeah. And not only is it like the mood but I think it's dependent on the tribe.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. I agree.
I'll say the tribe, because me and you both have done episodes. Now, if you go to A Whisper to a Scream podcast, and I'm not really plugging it, but I guess I am plugging it. I mean, go check it out. It's Ryan's show that I did with him. The first episode we did was the Gugwee, I believe. Second episode was Ginosqua. The sound quality is a little rough. I sound like I'm screaming, and Ryan sounds like he's going. You sound like that kid from Frisky Dingo. I don't know if anybody's ever seen this show, Stuart, the son. and Kill Face is trying to talk to his son, and he's like, and I was like kind of joking about that. I was like, Ryan sounds so like, it just, I'm like, it's not like I'm screaming, it's like that scene in Fear and Loathing, but it's kind of bad for the audio, but the information is valuable, and I put a lot of good stories on there.
We put a lot of good work into that.
Work into that. I put some really good encounters that people had given us, and then Ryan did a bunch of research on those things. Now, here's what I want to ask. We'll start with the Gugwee. Okay. All right, and we'll ask you go ahead and talk about the Gugwee. Give the audience today, right now on the live stream, what you know about the Gugwee.
Okay, well, when you think about the Gugwee, you're probably going to think about the Beast of Seven Shoots. That was that photograph with something holding part of a dog. It's a small dog. And these things are known to look more baboon-like, whereas most describe Bigfoot as either gorilla or human-like. Gugwee are more baboon in appearance and in behavior. It's even been said that these guys had something to do with LBL. Remember, we were discussing that, Josh. Mm-hmm. And they're known to be incredibly aggressive. The Micmacs actually called them trolls because they believed that they would stalk children. They would set traps for the kids and the women, and they would take the kids and they would eat them. So they're not gentle in any way. Mm-hmm. There's nothing good about them. They're called face eaters for a reason.
There you go. And, somebody just said that.
And when they call them face eaters, what about that says that they're gentle or docile or something you can tame? there's nothing gentle about them. And I think that's their nature. I do think that particular species or subspecies is aggressive because that's the way they were brought up.
Yeah, and to add to that, there's another type of creature that eats faces, and that's a chimpanzee.
Baboons will do it too.
And baboons, they will attack your face. Okay. My face has been completely chewed off by a baboon / rabid dog / chimpanzee type animal, and it's been reconstructed. It's been completely reconstructed to look much, much more appealing. And I'm still very hideous. So, folks, what does that tell you? Okay, that's it. End of show. They're scary. Good night. I'm just joking, folks. I'm just kidding. My face has only been reconstructed once, and it wasn't because of that.
If you want a good idea of how brutal Gugwee could be, just look up chimpanzees hunting other chimpanzees and just magnify that times 10.
When they hunt the monkeys up in the trees, I've seen them do it. It's like it's crazy. I mean, you see this troop of baboon of chimpanzees hunting the little monkeys up in the trees. Brutal, absolutely brutal. And then they have intertribal warfare. I mean, like you said, they kill one another. I mean, they're rough,
and they play it smart too. I mean, they actually recorded them marching single file. That's almost human-like intelligence.
Very much like that. Planet of the Apes is scary to me. I don't know if anybody else looked at it kind of as a horror, but it was kind of a horror to me. I mean, I wasn't going like, oh, geez, so scary, you know, but I was going like, this is weird. This is scary. I mean, you know, this is weird, you know, like there was just something unnerving about Caesar and the character and all that. I can say this, my friend, Tony's stepdad, it's a great friend of mine, one of my good friends, actually working for me tonight. He's a good guy. He had a baboon, a pet baboon.
On purpose?
Yeah, it was a female, but that thing would beat up his pit bulls.
I bet.
It would beat up his pit bulls. I mean, they would start to play, and then it would just start beating the crap out of them. I mean, it was like this thing was no joke. Okay, I never messed with it or anything like that. You know, I'm not stupid. But yeah, there's definitely something. You know, I had another friend who had a chimp. When it was a little, I think his name was Boston or something, some weird name. But I never messed with him much when he was little. Like he came out and was like, "Hey, what's up?" Eating banana, literally, and just was like funny and cute, whatever. Haha. When he got older, it literally killed 2 of their dogs, and it wasn't so cute and funny anymore. So the chimp had to go away. They did whatever. They sent it to a rescue, whatever. And his wife wanted it, thought it was a great idea. And I was like, you know, the guy, he wasn't like our best friend, but he would come to the club sometimes. And we had to go to his place one time out near, I think it was out near Marble Falls, if I remember correctly. And he had this chimpanzee. He had a few other exotic animals too. But, you know, he was all like, oh, he's friendly, he's cool, you know, and I was like, I don't care. It's all fun and games until somebody gets their face chewed off or their fingers bitten off.
Yeah, there was a woman that was killed by her pet chimpanzee.
Yeah.
I think it's because she changed her hairstyle, wasn't
it? Dude, I have no idea. Maybe she used a different perfume and set it off. I don't know what sets these things off. I just know that I don't mess with them.
Determined, though, that it was her hairstyle. She got her hair cut, and the chimp didn't recognize her, so it attacked her and ate her face right off.
Well, you think that once it started, like, I mean, they're supposed to be so smart. I mean, it can't tell, you know, like, come on, this is mom or whatever was raised, you know. Somebody just said, why is mom? Okay.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Hey, Flacco, can you get rid of him, please? Okay, thank you. I don't know why dude, the guy is just, I'm not trying to talk about this guy, all right? I don't want to talk about this dude, but he just is.
You know what? I'm going to comment on it real quick, though, Josh. Marvin, you and I and Ashley discussed this. I told you what was up. I told you leave Josh alone. You need to listen, dude. Get your cards straight, bro. Seriously.
I just want to be, that's all I want, is just be left alone. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Just go your way, I go mine. I don't know why. We're not friends. We're not going to be friends. Anyway, back to what we're talking about. The whole thing with the Gugwee, okay. These things were called face eaters. Now, apparently, they had somewhat of a protrusion, like a protruding snout.
Yeah, they look a lot like either baboons or mandrills. Like you look at the snout, they have the very, very, very long snout with the sharp canines in front. And, body-wise, they look just like a Sasquatch. They walk like a Sasquatch, have the fur and everything. But when you see their faces, you're going to know that's not your typical Sasquatch at all.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing. I'm going to give you another story. Now, if you, like I said, if you go to Ryan's Whisper to a Scream podcast, okay, you'll hear the show that I did with him, the 2 shows. And like I said, we didn't plan this. It's not a plug, but it is good material. There are some stories on there. I got one not too long ago, a couple months ago, when I was dealing with all kinds of stuff with my mother's passing and all that, and I was busy with things, and I didn't have, so I was kind of, and if anybody felt like I was ignoring them, I wasn't. If I wasn't answering you, I was dealing with a lot of things. And so I did get a story though not too long ago, and this one was up in not Manitoba. Was it Manitoba? I think it was Manitoba.
Ooh,
and
prime
so,
country there.
Yeah, and this person was walking through the woods doing their job. They were marking trees, I guess. I don't know what they were supposed to be doing. I got to go back, and I just kind of glanced over it. It was one of those things, and I don't want to give too much away because I might go into depth with this person. I'm going to contact them. But this individual was doing his job, and he comes across what he believes to be a Sasquatch, like he had never seen one before. And he had claimed to have seen one once before that looked completely different than this animal. The first one he saw was black, and the hair was almost like a human type hair. And it looked almost like it had the cranium, like it was protruding. It looked like, he said, if you took a Neanderthal and just made it more ape-like.
So it had the conical head and everything, and
yeah,
then just
it was just there. It kind of came out of the woods onto the path. It kind of just sat there. He said it kind of looked side to side. Now, I didn't actually see him do this, but I'm just giving y'all a visual. It came out and it was like, and then it started throwing barrels at him, and he jumped over the barrels and saved the girl. No, I'm just kidding. That's actually something else.
Super heroic.
It came out. Okay, and it kind of got down on all fours, the way he said, and it kind of looked around and it stood up, perfectly straight, and then walked into the clearing. Arms were extremely long. Did not feel like it had any ill intentions with him. It was nothing like that.
Okay.
But he said 7 years later, he ran into something in the woods that was unlike that other creature. Said that the legs were very tree trunk-like. And from what I read, and from what a couple people in my team, I think I showed them, it was very tree trunk-like legs. And if anybody that's listening, I don't know if I told you, Nelly or Anthony or whoever's here that was listening, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think I showed you this, but I might be wrong. The arms were very muscular. It had a humongous chest. It was very, very big. And its head was big, and it sat on its shoulders much differently than the other creature. Completely different species. And he said that it was like he heard like this squealing noise, whatever, making noise. It was holding a deer by its back legs. And when he looked, this thing just swung and bam, slammed it into the tree. Completely just annihilating this animal.
That's brutal.
And then just took it and just over its side and just bit into it. And he said when he saw the mouth, the teeth came out. And when I asked him what that meant, I said, "What?" He goes, "Have you seen a great white shark bite into something and pull, and its teeth protrude outward and pull the flesh back?" He said that's what it did.
So the teeth moved forward.
Yeah, tearing into like the underbelly of this doe. And he said that it was like boom, 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 3 or 4 bites. He said he couldn't believe what he was watching. He had a firearm. It wasn't on him, unfortunately. Okay. And he was probably about a mile, he said, 1.5 miles back from his truck. And so he just slowly started to back away, and he turned, and then he booked it. he did say that the creature turned and was looking at him, but then it was kind of sat up and was kind of debating, and then he got as far away from it as he could. And
well, you said it had a deer. I mean, I wouldn't just throw a deer aside for a human. Definitely
yeah, exactly. Not. It was already like eating. The first thing that came to mind though was Gugwee, and that's something I was going to tell you. You know, like we should go over that because that to me sounds like a Gugwee, a very because the mouth. He said it was. And I asked the guy, I said, do you think it was a dog man? And he's like, no, he knew what a dog man was, like, from the research and finding the shows and all that. And luckily for him, somebody pointed him in our direction because he said, hey, these guys they're good at what they do and everybody else sucks. And then I was like, yeah, you're right, sir. That's absolutely correct. And that's not what happened. But anyway, he was like, hey, I reached out because a friend of a friend, and then they got in touch with me. And messaged me, and I started going back and forth with this guy. One thing that I asked this dude, when we were talking about the teeth, he said it was not like the shark has just rows and rows of the jagged, serrated, sharp teeth. It's not a great white. It wasn't a tiger shark. There was no conveyor belt of teeth. Okay, let's not get that wrong. It was just these huge canines with what looked like smaller ones, and then like from what he could tell, but very much. Do what?
Hold on now. If the teeth moved forward, though, there might have to be rows behind it.
Possibly.
The fact that it moved up, it kind of suggests that maybe there is that system where the teeth kind of move up a little bit,
like a conveyor belt type thing.
Yeah. So it could be like a shark in some ways.
But I mean, is that something that's found in the primate gene?
Not that I know of.
Exactly.
No.
So, I mean, I'm not a primatologist or whatever they call it, but I know that like a mouth coming out like that seems very odd. And whenever you...
Could it be, though, that the lips just moved up?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, this guy wasn't like, he wasn't... I mean, he was... I think he said he was about 50 yards away.
All right, so
and he saw it, but he's like, I have very, very good vision, and he goes, and I kept walking, and then I got, so he said, I think he said, I got to go back and look, it was like 40 to 50 yards, but he was close enough to see it and see what it was doing. And, and when you stop and you think about what could have gone on, that could have been very bad, because what if it didn't have the deer?
Well, the reason I ask, though, is if you look at baboons and mandrills, when they get aggressive, when they snarl, their upper lips actually fold upward.
Yeah.
And their teeth stick out a bit.
Yeah, and I did a little bit of research on, and me and you talked also about the behaviors of the mandrills and the the baboons, and we've gone over this, and of course you doing all your research. I mean, Ryan is a fountain of information. So having listened to this person's story, and you're going like, okay, that sounds like a very, very aggressive animal that I don't want to come in contact with, unless I had the bat like Negan. Then I would just be like, what's up? And I'd do a huge monologue for like half an hour, and then I would start trying to hit it.
You're going to kill Mike Glenn?
Yeah, I would just decide which one of them fools I was going to beat with that bat. But it would be after a half-hour monologue. And then I'd have Anthony or somebody videoing it so we could just, I could walk around talking about it with a cool leather jacket. No, I'm just kidding, folks. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't wear that. I would wear a blue jean jacket, the throwback, the 80s. Come on, man. It's retro. No, the Gugwee, it's not something I would ever want to encounter. It would be a horrific thing for the Gugwee, because I would tear it limb from limb, and it would be awful.
Not good, though. They're really not good. I mean, you get the Micmacs, and the Micmacs spoke of how these things would come down to take kids, and they'd set traps for kids. They were actually smart enough to set traps for them. So
and when you look at that encounter, though, you would have people. There's two camps that will come out. One that will be like, kill it with fire, shoot it. Use a 50 cal, use a tank, blow it up, kill it, just because. I mean, if they saw Harry and the Hendersons and Harry came out wearing a little Santa Claus hat and was like bringing toys, they'd shoot it, because that's just how they are. And then you'd have the other camp that would be like, oh, well, it was just gently chewing on that man's head, giving it a scalp massage, Oh, it could have been worse. He could have just, instead of eating the top of his head, he could have ate his whole head. You know, because there are people that are literally that delusional. I mean, like, they will argue with you.
Oh yeah, they'll back it up even if it breaks a man's
100%.
neck.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
I mean,
my
he
buddy
turned the guy's head till his neck broke, but that's okay.
turned his head around. He wanted that man to be able to look at his butt because he's been working on his glutes, and he was like, "Oh, I'll show you. You're doing good. See?
Yeah, you're doing aggressive here, man. Just snap. There you go.
Those squats are paying off. Oh, sorry, you're so fragile. I broke your neck. I didn't mean to.
Really, though,
I'm just a.
I think, Josh, a lot of people romanticize Bigfoot. You know, they want to have something in common with them, and I think it actually makes them accepting the existence a bit easier if they can romanticize these guys.
Yeah.
You know,
and then makes them feel more comfortable about taking their family out into a picnic where your kid might get binged upside the head with a ricocheted rock and end up in the hospital. And then some, and I'll just be honest, some 2-bit researcher will tell you that it, you know, just, and if you want to come at me and be, you know, say something about what go ahead, dude. I'll say something about you. I'm not trying to start anything, but we kind of got into it, and me and this person got a little heated, and I agreed not to say his name. He's not going to say mine, but I just told him what I thought of him. Huh?
Hang on a sec.
I just don't agree with the whole, I don't think that these things are nice, docile. I don't think they're all out there to kill us, but I don't think that they're all nice and docile, and they're playing by the rules either. Another thing I don't agree with is people leaving them gifts.
Yeah, that can be extremely dangerous. I mean, gifting always leads to feeding, and I think feeding is the worst idea possible.
You shouldn't feed bears.
No, definitely not. You shouldn't feed any wildlife.
Yeah, because once you do that, you habituate them to coming around. And there's a story that was given to my wife about a dog man. I don't know if it was a dog man. I don't know what it was. I didn't get a good enough a description, and it was a story that was given to her secondhand. So basically, what it is, and she can tell it or retell. I don't know if she's told it before, but she can come on the show and she can talk about it. What happened was this guy out in California. I think it was in California. He was on a property and he was leaving dead rabbits for a upright canid, and eventually this guy didn't do that. So the upright canid began to, if I remember correctly, kill his pets and then threaten him.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and so that was a bad idea. You know, I think it's really irresponsible of people to leave them food and to give them gifts and all these other things because you don't know what you're dealing with. At best, okay, folks, I'm going to tell you this, okay, and you're hearing it from me right now. At best, you're dealing with a species of animal, at best, okay, that is wild and that is completely untamable. At worst, and this is at worst, okay, and I'm going from the full spectrum. It's something demonic or Nephilim. You don't even know. Something interdimensional. You don't even know. It could be anything from an animal to something from another realm, okay, and anything in between. And it probably is anything in between. It's probably everything you could possibly come up with. It's there. You know, I know people who, you know, talk about these things as being, you know, celestial, you know, from other, you know, places. They say planets. Other people say they're interdimensional, stargates, or they come from the inner earth. I don't know. I've heard all of the above, but it's not a good idea. And when anyone says to one of my witnesses, oh, you know what? As long as you don't hurt them, they won't hurt you, and you're completely fine. And don't worry about it if your kids go and play by the lake or whatever, and they see them. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you talking about? You know, I mean, giving them donuts and whatever else you want to do, that's fine. If that's what you want to do that with yourself. But don't recommend other people do the same kind of insanity, because I just don't agree with that.
Yeah, well, you're teaching them to rely on you, so you're taking away their instincts in a way.
And they look at you as a source of food.
Right. So they depend on you, and then once you don't feed them, they're going to get angry about it because, you know, they have to go and they have to hunt now, and well, you're the thing they're going to hunt.
Yeah. This guy says that they were feeding them popcorn and Pepsi and they became aggressive. because Pepsi is, I mean, it's
Pepsi's terrible.
I'm not gonna sit here and vouch for one way or the other, because if you gave me Pepsi, I'd probably, but I'm not a big soda guy. If I'm gonna drink a soda, it's gonna be a Dr. Pepper, which is made here in Texas. I can tell you this though, I will never tell any of my witnesses that Dogman or Bigfoot are okay and that they won't hurt you. Okay. I'm not going to tell them that they're going to come running out and tear your head off either, because, they probably won't. I think the odds are you'll be okay, even if you're living in their area. But I can't give you any kind of guarantee that you're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, giving them anything that's, got sugar in it, I think that's a bad idea. I really think giving Bigfoot or Dogman anything with sugar in it, because they get addicted to it.
Yeah. Well, sugar's addicted. Humans or people are completely.
Yeah. So what happens when we have to come off of sugar?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
so if they're forced to come off of sugar all of a sudden, it's not going to be a good thing.
Yeah, it could be, anything could happen. I mean, I remember one time back when I was really, really fat, people are going like, he still is. What are you talking about? Shut up. Shut up out there. Don't look at me like that. Anyways, no, I'm saying like back when I was obese and people are going like, I think he still is. And once again, shut up. No, when I was really heavy, I had a problem. I never was a big sweet eater, but I thought because I didn't eat, Little Debbie snacks, and I wasn't interested in eating those fruit pies or any kind of pastries. I didn't eat any kind of junk like that. I was never a sweet eater. I'd drink a soda once in a while. My Achilles heel was always being on the go and always being at work, and I would just eat fast food, because fast food, and that's what did it. I mean, I should have had a shirt that said "Body by Drive-Thru," because that's what did it. Mm-hmm. But I realized that there's so many carbs in that stuff, and that creates and then the sugar, it gets in your body, and then coming off of that, when I had to lose 100 pounds, which I did. It was like I had to completely rearrange everything, and I lost a lot of muscle too. At the same time, I had to slow down on the working out so I could, gain more mobility back, and so I could move around and do more. And I cut out a lot of carbs. I ate a lot of like salmon and chicken and things like that, and vegetables. I've always been a big vegetable eater. I've never had a problem with vegetables. I'm not one of those like, I want to eat vegetables, because my mom would smack me with the chancla if I didn't. She was one of those, you don't leave and go run and play until you finish everything on your plate. She was one of those kind of moms, and it was always very well balanced. She would always make vegetables, like every meal had vegetables. Like she was a good mom in that way. My parents were very about eating, not necessarily eating like super healthy, but you would eat a balanced meal. And it was a nightly thing. Typically, my mom, as much as she worked, the workaholic she was, she'd come home and she would cook. Not always, but then when I learned how to cook, it was always ingrained in me to make sure I ate vegetables, and they always had lots of fruit and stuff around. But I had to adjust my diet to not eat carbs and not eat a lot of sugar, and just coming off of that is very hard. And then I'm salt sensitive, and then now I gotta watch out. I can't eat sugar. I can't eat salt, a lot of salt. So, you have to eat a very strict diet. And like I said before, I showed you that video of me, and I was pushing 610 on there.
That was beast mode right there.
Yeah. So, I mean, and so I'm pretty sure I'm back. My strength is back to where it was before. And so these creatures, they've been living out there without any sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they've been doing just fine. Then you give them food. Okay. And then they become like, I like that. I want that. The humans are the source of that. So they may come around you so that they can get what they want, which is the sugar. And I think that's a very plausible thing that you said, because a lot of people, I think that they don't, I don't think they realize it. I don't think they realize that what they're doing when they habituate. And then you're getting all these stories now of people claiming habituation, like these Bigfoot, they've habituated them and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, if that's true, that's a terrible idea.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think you could luck out. You might get a small family that behaves pretty well, but not all the time. No.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get that group. You might even have somebody in, that big group that you have on your property that just decides, well, I want more, so I have to rebel against this person. So it's risky either way. I mean, I would never tell anybody to do it. I wouldn't recommend it. But, there's going to be people that do it no matter what we say.
Yep. Yeah, and now let's move to the Ginosqua. You want to explain what that is to the audience?
Okay, yeah, Ginosqua, my favorite. Okay, the Algonquin called these Ginosqua the stone giants. Now, these guys were incredibly smart. They would roll in tree sap and then roll in the river rocks to form a kind of applique armor. So the arrowheads at the time would actually deflect off of these guys. And what did they need armor for? This was used when they would raid the Algonquin villages to steal kids to cannibalize. Brian Duke Sullivan from World Bigfoot Radio, he had an encounter when he was a kid with a Ginosqua. So you might want to hear his encounter someday.
Yeah, and so did Duke tell you that he knew 100% that it was a Ginosqua? Like he called it that?
Yeah, he calls it that specifically. He said that he didn't know right away, but as he started doing research based on the mannerisms, the looks, he could tell that was a Ginosqua.
Okay.
Yeah, and this thing actually smiled at him, and it wasn't one of those "Hey, how you doing" kind of smiles. You know what it means when animals seem like they're having a smile on their face.
Well, it depends upon the type of creature. Like a primate, it could be a sign of submission, even.
It's more nervousness with primates. Mm-hmm. It's shown that they're kind of excited, anxious, and it could be aggression too.
Yeah.
This thing actually followed.
It depends on the animal, the type of animal. I don't know if this is 100% true, but I've heard that chimpanzees tend to smile at each other as a sort of a sign of submission. But when they peel their face back in a certain way, that supposedly it's different than the smile, which I've actually been shown. I can't tell.
Yeah, when the lips go up on a chimpanzee, that's them baring their teeth. They're trying to show the other chimps, stay away from me.
Yeah.
This is what
I've heard it both ways.
Yeah, so it can be dangerous. When they smile at you, that's not them being polite.
Okay.
And it's kind of like Bilak just said in the chat here, Ginosqua were actually paralleled with another mythology that I'm going to be covering pretty soon, the Wendigo. It was said to be a man-eater, but they called it Wendigo with an I, not with an E. The Wendigo would come down from the mountains to eat people.
Now, that's where it gets kind of confusing because stories that I've gotten of the Wendigo, I think very possibly could tie into the rake or the pale humanoidal type critter.
Yes.
And this is going to be, did we do the rake, me and you?
No, we did not yet.
We haven't done it yet. Okay, all right. Because I was wondering about that. I saw when you had posted on there on your site on your your group page. I Whisper to a Scream, which is affiliated with us, and I read that and I thought, I thought we did that.
No, we didn't do that.
I can't remember. I can't, because I've done so many different stories and that's why I try to keep, what I do and say to I try to keep it within our group here, because if you're going out on all these other shows and you're giving out your information, I'm not real big on that, and they can edit it however they want to, which is another thing I don't like. So yeah, that's another way. That's another term for the rake, because the rake, it conjures up the image of the creepypasta. It's not a real thing. It's like it's some story, some make believe story. But when you call it the pale humanoid, because that's what they are, they look like a pale or translucent humanoid. Do what?
They call them ashmen as well, because sometimes the descriptions say they have grayish-like skin.
Now, here's the thing. On that Stalked by Sasquatch, the last one that we did about Sasquatch, which was this past weekend, we did the Dogman one. It was the Brenda Armstrong. It was definitely a Dogman or Wolfman, whatever you want to call it. The week before was the Stalked by Sasquatch. I believe in that corridor there are a type of Sasquatch with either they put ash on their skin, or they put some sort of gray something on their skin, or their skin is gray, because the description of the face of that creature, that area would have been roughly 50 miles at most, maybe 40 miles from where the Besieged by Bigfoot story was. Now, if you go back in the archives, folks, and you listen to the Besieged by Bigfoot and you listen to these Stalked by Sasquatch, possibly the same type of creature.
Could very well be.
Yep. And I don't think it was a Ginosqua or a Gugwee. I think it was its own type of creature. Now, let's get into the legs. Now, the description that you get of the Gugwee, they tend to have. A lot of people say they look like a mixture between a dogman and a Sasquatch.
Yeah, I think they get that from the snout, though. They look at the snout, they look at the size of the head, and they kind of go, dogman, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's really a hybrid. I know some people have theorized that, but genetics just doesn't work that way. So,
and so what do you think? And so what are your thoughts on the Gugwee being a genetic hybrid?
No. I don't think it's going to be really possible. I think that depends on what you're talking about as far as hybridization goes. If you think like maybe, you know, between Sasquatch and Dogman, I'm going to have to say no.
Mm-hmm.
But there could be like an interbreeding between different types of Sasquatch that created this more aggressive kind of spin-off.
Very much possible. Okay, another question for you. Government interference.
Ooh, well,
or privatized interference. I mean, something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really big on the government conspiracy, but I mean, it is possible that they've captured some and did some tests on them. You know, why wouldn't they?
Would it be out of the realm of possibility? And folks, I want you guys at home that are listening in the chat, I want you to answer this question the best you can. Give me your opinion. I want to know what you think. Do you think that these things, that like the government could be responsible for taking a dogman of whatever type and breeding it or cross-genetically breeding it with a type of Sasquatch? Could that be what the Gugwee is?
Well, see, this is where my question comes in, though. You know, if they're a government creation, how was it the Micmacs were seeing
talking about it? I knew that's what I was waiting for you to say that, but I wanted the folks at home to. But Ryan's clever. Ryan's going to jump right on that. See, that's the $1 million question right there. If that is the answer, because a lot of people believe that. I've had tons of people tell me that's what they are. I got it figured out. It's a government experiment. It's a chimera. Mm-hmm. And I don't know who I'm imitating there. If that was one of you guys. I'm not imitating anyone in particular that you've got. I know
that
who
wasn't a specific mockery.
Yeah, there were several of y'all. That's an amalgamation of several of y'all. Okay, and I love you all. You're all listeners. You're good guys. You send me and gals, and y'all send me your ideas and stuff. And I'm not making fun of your ideas. I'm just saying, you know. But people say, well, you know what, Wolf, I got it all figured out. This is what I think it is. And I do read all my messages and email. I try to. I don't always get. I just saw something very weird.
Where, in chat or?
Right here in the studio, I just saw like a shadow. That was weird.
Oh, I did not see that.
And I know Anthony's in the other room, so that wasn't him. We have an office and a studio, and then a front, and then we have the outside, and then it looked like I don't know. I was like, that was weird, folks. I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing things here. Maybe the Gugwee are here to get me, or maybe the government wants to experiment on me. Okay, so anyways, if you see Bigfoot out there running around that look like me, it wasn't me. All right, the government. You know. But anyways, like I was just thinking, like, you know, you get people saying they got the answer, this and that, and then you ask them, well, what about the Native American legends? You know, what about the legend of the Ginosqua in Oklahoma of the soldiers that were killed by the Gugwee?
Right, exactly.
Or not Gugwee, the Ginosqua. Because you have all these stories of these different Native Americans and their legends. So how does the government fit into that? Now, here's another way to look at it, folks. Postulate with me for a moment here. Let's say that these things have been around since the days of Noah, whatever. The Native Americans had to deal with them. They fought with them. They have legends of fighting with everything from red-haired giants to giant King Kong-looking ape men. Okay? They have to fight with these creatures. They have to overcome them. They have to defeat them, blah, blah, blah. But there are remnants that are left. then of those remnants, the government comes in, or a privatized corporation, genetically something, a Jurassic Park type corporation comes in. They genetically alter, engineer, and so then you're seeing not only the remnants of what these Native Americans were dealing with, but now you're seeing all these government chimeric creatures running around.
Okay, then that's a possibility. All right, I'll agree with that. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, it's crazy. And now I want you to tell the story of Oklahoma, the soldiers. Now this is the Ginosqua, folks. This is the ones that were known to roll in tree sap and use rock on their.
Oh, you mean the Leflore County Massacre?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what happened there is there was a tribe of Native Americans that lived along that river, and these Ginosqua were coming in on a daily basis, and they were killing men, women, and children. But they were taking kids. They were actually taking the kids somewhere where they could never find them, and so they had to contact a soldier by the name of Leflore, and he was part Indian as well. So he took sympathy on these people, and he arranged a party, a group to find these Sasquatch and to kill them. Except when he arrived, it didn't go as planned. He shot one personally, and that thing just bucked it off, knocked him off his horse, and broke his neck.
Oh man!
You know, so a lot of the men that were trying to fight these Ginosqua, these Sasquatch, they didn't come back. You know, these things were ready for them, so it wasn't a simple affair.
And Leflore was killed subsequently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he fired at one at close range. Actually, he shot at one. And it just kind of shrugged it off, and it knocked him right off his horse, and it broke his neck.
Golly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, just in one quick move, it just grabbed him off his horse and just snap. So his men,
you know, and the sad thing is, what a weak individual. If he would have been stronger and been in the gym every day, that probably wouldn't have.
I would have kicked it in the jimmies, man. If it grabbed me like that, I'm like, yep.
The Wolfman has nards. Well, I don't think you know, you put it yourself in the poor guy's position, and everybody always says, well, I could do this, I could do that. And as strong as I am, as big as, and I always use this as a reference. Okay. I absolutely do. Thank you. I absolutely do not believe that I would have a chance, a snowball's chance in Hades, that I could stop one of these creatures. You know, if anybody goes, and like I said, I'm not pushing this, but if you go and you look at the video of me doing, you know, the lifting, you see how strong I am. I still, these things, like a small one could probably tear my head off. And I hate when people put this idea that a human being could have a chance with any of these types of creatures. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, I mean, would you really have the wherewithal, you know, given all the stories that you hear about these things? If you were to be up close and personal with one that's trying to kill you, would your mind really click in that sort of way where you become a badass? I don't think so.
Well, first of all, I would try to avoid being in their habitat, in their area, or wherever they're seen. I'm not one of those people that goes out stalking them.
Well,
you know, especially the aggressive encounters. I'm like, this person was like, would you like us to go and show you where they were at? And I was like, no, thank you. I know somebody in that area that can go and do it, and he was absolutely okay with it. He's just buddy of mine, old redneck guy, and he's like, I'll go check it out. He went out there, and it was nothing. You know, it's peaceful. That's like Granger Lake out by Taylor. I mean, you know, you go out there and there's Hoxie Bridge. I mean, you go out there 90% of the time, you're probably not going to see anything. But what about that 10% of the time that you do? You might not see the headless horseman, but he could be, you know, it could be that one day of the month, one day of the year, whatever, where he's riding around. I mean, right. I'm not saying that he exists or he doesn't exist. It's just weird that there are people who claim that this thing has literally ridden right alongside their car. And one person, the car even got struck by a sword saber that this thing had pulled out. Whoa. Now, was this a man on a horse? And if it was, then when they got to the bridge, why did it just disappear? Did it go down into the creek or what? I mean, what happened? Because it's just like, poof, it was gone. I mean, what this has to do with Sasquatch, you know, is simply that, you know, I personally am not going to go out there on a moonlit night and go and start screaming for the horseman to come out and try to decapitate me, because that's not something I'm interested in doing. not that I'm a chicken or anything like that, but I'm just not foolish. I mean, I went to Goman Bridge and we saw this weird blue glowing thing in the water. It was 4
Yeah,
of
I'm
us.
still
We all
jealous you
saw
went.
it. Do what?
I'm jealous you got to go there. I want to go there someday.
Well, you know, Ryan, you got an open invite. I'll
Awesome.
fly you down here. We'll put you up in a hotel. You know, we just got our land and we're not able to start building yet, but it will be within another month or so. We'll be building. And once that's done, you'll have a place to stay with us and just anytime.
Nice.
But, you know, in the meantime, like I said, come down here. We'll take you to all these spots. Then we can go to Hoxie Bridge. I'm not real big on staying the night over there because a lot of weird stuff happens there. And I've had a lot of people tell me they've had weird. I've gone there in the daytime with a friend of mine, Art. You know, he's from Northwest, and he lives down here now. And we went out, me, him, Anthony, his wife, and we took him to the bridge and took some pictures. And it was calm and peaceful, and everything's fine. But it wasn't nighttime. I've never heard of anything happening on the bridge in the daytime. It's always at night, and it's always in certain times of the night, and especially in October in particular. I don't know why, but apparently a lot of weird stuff happens in the fall out there. And in the summertime, it's very hot, humid, and full of spiders and snakes, and it's not something that I'm not interested in doing.
Spiders. Ugh.
Yeah, I know, and they're everywhere. Spiders and snakes all over the place out there. And the lake is just right there, and a lot of weird phenomena has happened near the San Gabriel River, and in the Brushy Creek area, and in the Granger Lake. There's been a lot of weird phenomena out there, and I've gotten very uneasy. I was walking out there late with my wife and Zane and Anthony. We were walking around out there, and it got late, and we ended up. So I was reading Tony's comment. It says, "I don't know if I haven't given my okay yet for Ryan to stay. If he slides me a 20, I'll be okay." Thank you, Mushu. Appreciate that. He's letting you stay. That's nice of him. What a guy.
I'll slide him a 20 on the way in, but here you go.
Yeah, I'll give you a box of 20 raisins. How about that? I hear that's currency in some countries. So, so what you know. I just, you know, I've gotten stories out of all these different regions, areas, whatever. Did I go at the peak time and do that? No, I didn't. I mean, you know, and it's not because I'm just not a fool. I don't need to be burned by the flame to know it's there, because when you get
self-preservation is important, man.
Well, you know, I mean, there's a guy I've known for years. He's a hunter. He goes out in the woods all the freaking time. I've known him for years, like decades. Right. I've known this guy, and he has told me himself that one night he saw a Sasquatch. He was out. This happened near, I think, Uvalde.
Mm-hmm.
And he came out and he said, you know, like I was out there and I was hunting, and I think it was turkey hunting actually. And he saw a Sasquatch. He said it just came straight out of the bush, looked right at him. He goes, "There's nothing else it could have been." He goes, "I've never given it any thought. I'd never believed in any of that stuff, and it had to be one. It had to be. There's nothing else it could have been."
So it was an eye opener for him.
Yeah, it changed his whole perspective on things. He still goes out into the woods. I mean, he still goes hunting. It hasn't changed his life in the way that, you know, well, I don't ever go out anymore. I stay at home and order in. You know, this guy still goes out. He kills his own food. He's very much a country person, and he'll travel all over and go hunting anywhere. He's killed elk.
Well, it's like my brother's friend. He's a hunter too, and he was chased out of the woods by something, and he refuses to go back into the woods. He's been hunting his whole life, and he will not go back in the woods now.
Well, if something chased me out of the woods, I wouldn't either. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I definitely think it over. You know, I don't know if I'd stay out permanently, but I'd rethink it.
What would you do? Let me ask you a question. We have several friends going out into the LBL. Nick Valente, D.A. Roberts,
right?
Greg Yost. They're all going out into the LBL. Kevin Moreland, I think, is doing it too. He's a listener. He's a supporter of the show. They're all headed out to the LBL. And now we also have Barton Nunley and Johnny Henderson, Elijah Henderson, and they're all going out to the LBL. Would you go out to the LBL?
I so would. I really would love to do that just to see what I could find. I would love to find some confirmation that something happened there originally, and that something happened with, Roger and all of them. Yeah, I need that proof, that little shred of evidence to say, yeah, something definitely happened. But yeah, I would definitely go out there. Would I be crazy and go alone at places at night? No, but I definitely go there. Yeah,
I would go out there if I had real incentive.
and what would that be though? What's your incentive?
Well, if people put up enough money for me to build my house, I'd be out there tomorrow.
Well, let's see if we can convince Nick to do that, man. If you're listening, buddy.
Like, Nick, how good is the NIDP doing these days? Yeah. I'm just kidding. No, if I had more time, and if I was with all those guys out there, I'd feel completely safe with those guys.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a great experience, with all the legends surrounding that place. It'd be kind of cool to get out there and look with your own two eyes and see if you find anything.
And this is no knock on Barton or Nick or any of my friends, but I'm much stronger than you guys. So when the creature comes, I'm gonna be like, whoa, whoa, and I'm gonna throw you. You're tough. You're hardy. You'll fight, and I'll go retrieve the vehicle. And then when I get the vehicle, I'm probably just gonna leave you there. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna take off because like I said, I gotta do me. You know what I'm saying? I just gotta do me.
See, everybody, now we know why Josh wants me to go. I'm the smallest dude.
And the scary thing about it is, Ryan, you're a small, skinny guy, so you would probably think you have the advantage on outrunning me, but I'm actually pretty fleet-footed. I can run pretty fast.
I would find a way, dude. I would tie your shoelaces together. Here you go.
I did pretty good. Like not that long before I got real heavy, I ran a 4.8. Okay, now that's not like blazing speed, whatever, but that's pretty good. Like for the size that I was about 320, and before I got I gained all that weight, and I'm back down to about 355. So I don't know if I could run a 4.8, but I could move. I'm a big guy, and I got fast hands and feet. So. No, I would not do that to those guys. I would pick out one or two different researchers who I don't like, and I would say, hey, let's all go out to the LBL, and then I would throw them in front of the Dogman or Bigfoot. I would never do that to you, Barton or Nick. I would not do that to you. Absolutely not. Especially when we bring Ryan along. That's what Ryan's for.
Two names already came to my mind, though.
I wouldn't do that to anybody. I'd probably end up being the one getting killed because I would probably be trying to defend everybody.
We'd have your back. We would.
Yeah, I'd be probably killed like Apollo Creed. What's his name from the Predator? What's the guy's actor's name?
Carl Weathers.
Yeah, I'd probably end up getting my arms ripped off by this thing.
Or if that did happen, I'd have to just stop and be like, "Cool."
Oh wow! Thanks a lot. You're like taking pictures of it. You're like, dude, the world had to know.
Hurt, Josh, but that was really cool, man. All right, Josh, I gotta drop on off of here. I gotta go check on the mom.
Yep, you do that.
All right, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for talking.
Not a problem, man. I will talk to you soon.
All right, later, Ryan. I'll see you. So, folks, that was Ryan Tremblay, and we were just talking about who would be thrown in front of the Dogman / Bigfoot, Gugwee, whatever it is that's running around on the LBL. Let me ask you people a question that are out there listening. Do you guys know what the LBL is? Does anybody know? Make sure that because we're talking about it, you may not even know what that is. So if you don't, just say on there, hey, I don't know what that is, and I'll explain it. Ethan just said, no, Rick, I'm not near Goatman Bridge. No. Ethan, you're in, don't tell me, Tomball, not Tomball. You're near Tomball. You're in Spring? Is that correct? I think Ethan lives in Spring. Now, Spring, if I'm correct, is near, or maybe it's Pinehurst. I don't know. You're down there in the gateway to the east, which Houston is gateway to the east and El Paso is gateway to the west. So you're in the Houston area, I believe. And so if Ethan is in that area, Goatman Bridge is up near oh God, I can't remember the name of the town. It's near Fort Worth. I'm trying to remember the name of the town. Let me ask Flacco. Let me take these headphones off. Cypress. There you go. You're in Cypress. So, hey, Anthony, Goatman Bridge, is that near Arlington or is it Fort Worth? Where's that at? Great answer. Anyways, I guess he's crashed. He's been training a lot lately. He's trying to be a fighter. He's terrible at it, but he's getting better. Land of Lakes, butter. No, the LBL is land between the lakes. That's what that is. I'm going to message somebody real quick here. So, I don't know much about these expeditions, like who's doing what and when. I know that I was told that some of my friends were going out this weekend. I don't know when Nick is doing his expedition or whatever. I don't know if they're out there now or what. Anyways, the LBL, if you're not familiar with it, is an area of that has been known for people being killed by what people describe as a type of dogman. Some people think it looks like a dogman Bigfoot hybrid. I don't know what to call it. I mean, it just. We can find out when this expedition is supposed to take place, or when it's supposed to be going down. Or hold on, let me find out. See if I can get this guy on the line. And we will find out, because I saw that they were all decked out, ready to go. See if we can hit Nick up. See if it's coming through. Let's try it again. Dick Richards has a good story there. It says 10 minutes from me was a notorious for a hellhound that was commonly seen. Let's see if I can get Nick on here. I'll call him straight up on the phone. See if I can get his. Can you guys hear that? Scorpion, I see you on here. Can you hear that?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, Nick?
Doing good, doing good.
Yeah, so where are you guys at?
Right now?
Yeah, like
I'm at home in New Jersey.
Oh, you're at home in New Jersey. Okay, so I saw you guys were all decked out. I'm on the live stream, and I was wondering about the expedition you guys had. What is that going to happen, or has that already happened?
No, it's going to happen.
Okay, it's going.
I'm not gonna put out the date and time or where right now because it's going to be LBL Tennessee, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to put out the date and time because I've been getting a lot of people that don't belong to my organization contacting me, and I mean it's just not going to be safe for them to be running around there. We've got a certain group coming. We have a security team, and then like I said, I have Mr. Cook. I have, and I also have
Kevin
Roberts, and I also have Yost.
Greg Yost.
Going to be showing up, and we had a couple other people. In fact, you were invited also. I know you can't make it.
I think you only invited me because you knew I couldn't make it, Nick, and I'm offended by that.
Nah, not really. I was hoping you would come.
Nah, I wanted to come because I wanted to be able to beat this thing with my bare hands, and we could put it on YouTube, make a bunch of money off of it.
That would be good. You're going to film it. You're going to film it. I got the CW Channel 11 interested. I've got Coast to Coast is going to have a broadcast team. They want to do a little bit live there, and I don't know whoever else Jody's come up with. I think he has Discovery Channel talking to him about it. But we'll see. We'll see what goes on.
So there's going to be a whole, and so we can't talk about the date. I understand that, but there's going to be a whole big thing going on with this.
Yeah, we're going to do a daytime. We're going to have a meetup time at a certain site. I'm going to tell everybody where it's going to be just the day before we leave. And we're going to have a meetup time and a meetup place. And then we're going to go in. We're going to do a daytime field investigation. Then we're going to come back at night when it's dark, for real dark. We have FOIRs, so we can see it, thermal scopes for the nighttime. We've also got plenty of regular lighting, if we need to use that. I mean, we're totally going to be suited up, and jocked up and ready to go out there. A lot of security precautions I'm taking. There's just so much. I mean, I've been planning this for over 6 months now. So everything's going to be going on, really well. Everybody's going to have a couple of canisters of bear spray, and the security team all know how to use it, and everybody knows their place and what we're going to do. So I don't expect any problems, really. I'm going to bring, I know that now I'm getting this name on the internet, Facebook basically, and they're calling me Batman of cryptozoology because of all the utility gear I take with me. Yeah. Well, I mean, could be called worse.
It could be worse. Yeah, I was going to say you could. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the electronic flashbangs, and I got the high-powered lasers, the multi-shot lasers that I'm going to be bringing. I mean, anything and everything to keep, my team and the other people safe, and myself safe. I mean, I'm even bringing black salt, white salt, holy water, you name it. I mean, never know what you're going to need there. But I'm going to do a full report, and, we're going to film it all and take a lot of pictures, and I'll post everything when we get back. But like I said, I just don't want people coming there getting hurt, or, getting in the middle of things when we're doing, we've planned everything. You plan your plan and you work your plan, and that's what you got to do. So that if we find something, we find it. If we don't, we don't. But it'll still be a nice adventure to go there where the massacre is said to have happened. And there's some other places around that area that I want to check out. After that, we're going to wing down to West Virginia, to the home of the Mothman. And we're going to go to the dynamite factory. We're going to go visit the bridge, visit the statue, and everything like that. And come September, I'm coming to Austin, Texas to beat your ass down here.
Oh boy!
You better pack out some weight, boy.
Dude, you know what? Let me tell you, I got a couple gyms we can go to. We can go to the Black Sheep Muay Thai gym that my buddy's Chris Trommel's gym, or I can beat you up over at Blindside Boxing, whichever one you want. Just let me know. We can go to Sean Cooper's over there at Cooper's MMA, and we can do it there too. I know all the fighters here, and And yeah, I'm messing with you. I don't want you to not be my friend. So I don't want to do that to you.
Oh, forever. Believe me, I don't want to hurt you. I wouldn't want to hurt you though.
Well, I appreciate it.
Embarrassed the Dumog, I'm going to tell you, man. Did you talk to your brother about
Well, yeah, he's
that?
told me all about it. We've been training. We've been practicing for that particular moves. We're ready. Ready to go.
I had practice years ago, and I showed some nurses over at a VA medical center. This one guy, 6'9", 420, and the other guy, 6'8", 450. And I was tossing them around the room, and I was saying, "Look, guys, look at you. You know, I'm 205 pounds, and you guys are 400 plus, and you're getting thrown all over."
But how honestly, how good of fighters are they though? That's the key. I mean,
well, they're nurses at a VA medical center, and they were in the psychiatric ward. Mm-hmm. So they actually had to, they had to go hand in hand with these people and not punch them either. You're not allowed to do that. You have to, subdue people properly.
I'm gonna tell you something, Nick, and I'm gonna post a video. I posted a video, a couple of them of me lifting.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw
one
those.
of them. That was pretty good.
Yeah, there's 6'10" on one of them. You know, the other one was about 500. I can tell you this, and it's strength aside, it's speed, and I have good wind too. I'm not my hands. Most people they're not gonna get past that. They're gonna try and do some kind of grapple with me, which I'm good at too. I'm good on the ground because I'm so heavy and strong. But
yeah, I know
the hand speed is what usually gets. I'll give you the heads up on that, because when you see the hand speed, you're gonna be like, okay, this is not a fair contest. I mean, honestly, dude, most people who know me in my real life, the fighters that I train with, they'll tell you that the speed that's what kills. I mean, when somebody's throwing hands at you 90 miles an hour, there's no defense. I mean, you can try to shoot, go underneath, and take it out sprawl. I'll counter it. Trust me. There's one thing I can do in this world is I can talk and I can fight. Can do a lot of other things. I'm not good with electronics and other things, but I'm good with those. I've been training for my whole life to fight. I'm a fighter. That's it's in my blood. But could never get underneath 300 to be able to do any of that. The MMA, they have those weight limits, and I never could get under 300. I think it's
265. So
it's ridiculous. I can't qualify.
Mm-hmm. But you let me finish the other part. I said I was going to come down there and beat your ass at eating brisket.
Yeah.
But I'll do the other thing too.
Well, the brisket part you probably win. I can't eat too much of that because of the sodium. Now here's the. Yeah, I can't do a lot. But let me ask you, here's $1 million question. How was the brisket that I sent you?
Oh my God, Jesus.
Yeah.
I had to heat that up, right? And I did it the right way and everything. That thing is like melt in your mouth stuff. Absolute melt in your mouth. That's how it was.
Thorndale Meat Market, I'm telling you. And when you come down, we can go out there and eat it fresh. And there's a couple different places that I can take you, and definitely. A lot of good food down here, man. You'll never look at Mexican food the same. You'll never look at barbecue the same.
That's what I want to take a look at. Mm-hmm. I've been looking at, because I do the cooking at home. I was looking at Spanish cooking, but from Spain. I was looking for a cookbook from Spain, what they do there. That's what I was really interested in trying to find. But it's so hard, because if you type in Spanish cookbook, they give you stuff from like South America and Cuba and all that, which is pretty damn good. But I want to see what they cooked over there, how they did it.
Yeah.
But damn, I'm having a hell of a time finding one. Speaking of which, I got to tell you about this place. You'll never make it to Jersey probably, but if you ever did, there's a place called the Kubicon. And been there a few times, and they've got this Tyrannosaurus Rex pork chop. I swear to God, it's like 3.5 inches thick, and it's gigantic, absolutely gigantic.
Wow!
And wonderful sides, wonderful side dishes.
So New Jersey is a livable state, because we had a smart guy here in the chat, and he's being funny, being facetious. But Rick said he lives in New Jersey. Did he lose a bet? So.
Did I lose a bet?
He's asking you if you lost a bet. Is that why you live in New Jersey?
No, because it's a damn good place to be. I've got the ocean. I've got the mountains. I've got the forest.
Well,
you got the city, everything.
The thing is, most of the people in New Jersey, and I'll just say this for the listeners at home, it's not like it's the north is really, really crowded, but then the south isn't. There's a lot of woods, a lot of woods.
Oh God, there is.
Mm-hmm. The Pine Barrens.
Yeah, well, that's down South Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd like to counter that question of his with where does he live?
Yeah, I have no idea. Rick, where do you live? He said he did basic training in New Jersey, so I don't know. He must have been somewhere miserable.
Down at Fort Dix, probably down South Jersey.
He said I was in Trenton for basic training. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, right.
So
I don't know what the hell he did. Maybe he went running around in the streets and he got shot at over there by the civilians. But there is no basic training in
Trenton. He said I was in Trenton for basic training. I have no idea. Rick, Purple Hobbit, you can answer that.
There are no military training bases in Trenton.
Okay, so let's go to the next question here. Somebody said can Squatch, which I think is short for Kansas Sasquatch, I guess. It says TV crew pretty much guarantees you'll see nothing. What do you think of that about your expedition?
You know what? I've been out, boots on the ground, all over the United States. I've been up actually into Canada. I was looking for Sasquatch, never found one. I was in California, Colorado, never found one. It's a hit or miss thing, but more miss. And if we were more hit, then everybody would know about it, and there'd be no need for boots on the ground.
No, it'd be over, done deal.
Yeah, it's a done deal. But I predict in 3 years they're going to come out with stuff. I mean, they're coming out with the UFO stuff, and with the government. That's what I mean by that. And I predict that they're going to be, more forthcoming in the future, and we're going to find out some more stuff. Some stuff people are not going to want to find out, and they're not going to want to know.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel.
Real quick here, Voltron76, thank you for your donation. Says PRT crew and peeps, sorry for missing the show. My work schedule sucks, but I showed up. Always, thank you. You're always welcome. Mike Taylor, thank you for your donation. Chris Clough. And Orca Rebuild sent me one that I got to read here really quickly. It says, "Hey Josh, I just wanted to say thank you for the prayers for my granddad. He is pulling through his fight with pneumonia and should get to come home soon. If I can ever do anything for you, just DM me." Thank you so much. I don't really need anything, man. I'm just living the dream. A workaholic. And that's that's what I do. I work constantly. That's all I do. I work. I was getting work phone calls. I'm getting messages while I'm trying to do this. But Nick, I just wanted to touch base with you. I'm glad you got the brisket, and I wanted to make sure that you guys were pleased with that, and wanted to know when the expedition was. Kevin had thought that I was going to be Moreland. He thought that I was going to be there, and I guess the rumor was that I was going to be there, but I can't get away from my job.
No, I understand that. I did want you to come, though. And,
wish I could.
I had Nate Rudd from Washington State. He's a big Sasquatcher. I wanted him to, but, unfortunately, job change for him, new house and everything. He couldn't make it. But, I do have, those three individuals coming for sure. And we're going to take a lot of photos. We're going to post it all up. I'll do a big write-up on it all. We'll be there at nighttime, and this is, it's not going to be something where we're going to fake anything at all. We're going to be there at night. We're going to be boots on the ground.
Yeah.
That's how I've always done things, boots on the ground.
And you guys are always, you come prepared, and that's the thing. Tell Yost, Greg Yost, I had spoken to him recently about him. He's going to come on the show at some point, and tell him that I'm interested and I'm excited to hear what he has to say. He's definitely a big.
Anytime Greg is around, something's going to happen.
Yeah. I
mean, we're bound to hear at least something, and if not see. During the daytime, I was looking more for that. That's what I'm going to try to set up with them.
Well, with that beard, he fools them into thinking he's one of them until they get close. Greg's he is huge. He's got the huge guy with a big beard. I know, it's crazy. Very, very interesting guy. So, Nick, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you taking the call, and you have a good rest of your night. And tell everybody up in New Jersey, I said, hey.
I'll tell Tom you're going to come down sometime.
Yeah. At some point, I'd like to, if I could ever get some time off, I was going to go this weekend up to the LBL. I kicked it around, but I just couldn't find a way to get my schedule cleared because I was going to go up there and hang out with some friends, but I just thought, there's no way I'm going to be able to do that. I just got so much work and trying to get this house get started building on it.
Yeah.
We finally got the land, and now we're going to build. And
Oh, that's great.
yeah, so, but I'll let you go, and you have a good night, Nick. All right.
All right, Josh. You take care now.
All right, man.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. So, Nick's been saying he's going to beat me for a long time, but I guess now he's changed it to he's going to beat me in eating brisket, which is he'll win hands down. I can't eat too much. I sent him and Barton Nunley and the Hendersons, and I sent Ryan all some brisket from Thorndale Meat Market and some sausage. They have the best, let me tell you. And my buddy from Spinners, the best turkey legs. I posted a thing about that. Fall off the bone turkey legs. I'm telling you, they're just the bomb. It's the absolute best. And if you're ever in Austin, I'm not kidding. If you're in the Austin area, hit me up. I'll give you the top 5, and I'll tell you where to go. I will give you my top 5. Okay. I can tell you right now, if you're looking for carne guisada, not asada. Asada is a steak. Guisada is a very Tex-Mex dish, and it's really delicious. Go to a place called La Posada in William Cannon. Tell them Big Wolf sent you. It's really good. I used to go there all the time. I lived down the road from there, and it definitely contributed to my waistline, believe me. If you're going to eat brisket barbecue in Austin, Styles Switch. It's Shane Styles. I grew up with him. He's from my hometown. And if you're willing to make the trip out to Thorndale, which is about 30 miles, 35 miles, it's awesome. It's the best barbecue, in my opinion. Their sausage is the best. I think their brisket is about even with Styles, but their sausage is the best. Now, if you're going to make that trip, Thorndale Meat Market. And they always got something special they're making that day. Big old dinosaur-looking beef ribs. It's crazy. I mean, it's just unreal. And if you're looking for a really good place to eat fajitas, now this is a chain restaurant, but it's pretty good. It's called Lupe Tortilla. The best beef fajitas you'll ever eat. Okay, and I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. They're absolutely the best. And then there's another place called, God, the heck is it called? It's a Mexican restaurant, and they have a platter called the Conquistador, and it is freaking out of this world good. Hey, Anthony, I think it's called Morelia's. Is it Morelia? Is that the one with the Conquistador? Morelia's. If you're in the Austin area, Morelia's. Now, if you want the best turkey legs and crab legs, I mean, and best dang burgers around. I mean, it's just my buddy Arash, his bar Spinners. It's in between Austin. It's like kind of right in the middle between Austin, Pflugerville, and Round Rock. It's in North Austin. It's very good. I don't live far from there, so I go there pretty regularly. And their turkey legs, I mean, they show a video of them hitting them, and then the meat just falls right off the bone. It's unreal. And then they make this crawfish Cajun mac and cheese. So that would be my top 5. Would be Spinners, Morelia, La Posada, Lupe Tortilla, and then Styles Switch, and then of course if you can make it out to Thorndale. So that's 6 places you got right there. If you want to eat a really good burger and you're just in the mood for just a burger, Phil's Ice House is a place to go. Trust me, you're in the Austin area, you hit me up. I will give you my the top places. So, and then you'll thank me later. And it's trust me, I'm not going to send you to some BS. Okay. So there's a lot of good places to eat. Those are my top ones. There's also an Austin local that's now spread its wings. It's a wing place. I'll give this an honorable mention. It's called Pluckers. Started here in Austin. It's now in Fort Worth, Houston, Dallas, Arlington, El Paso. They're everywhere. They're all San Antonio, Corpus, everywhere you go in Texas. They're everywhere now. Torchy's Tacos is another one. Really good. They have one that's a brisket taco. What is the brisket taco called at Torchy's, Anthony? What? I can't remember what it's called. My wife could tell you. I know she loves that one. But they have a brisket taco, and it's Torchy's. Big cattle state, so there's lots of beef everywhere. I have cut down enormously on eating red meat, but yeah, it's so. But they have that place Torchy's. It's blown up now. They have them up in Dallas and Houston and everywhere you go. Really good place to eat. If you want a good sit-down restaurant with a great chicken fried steak, there's a place called Jack Allen's Kitchen. Jack Allen's has got really good chicken fried steak, and they make this pimento cheese, which I don't know if you know what that is. Kind of a Texas thing. And yeah, man, it is really good. Ethan, there's a Pluckers near me. Yeah, Pluckers is good. They got good wings. Let me tell you, they got it going on. Austin has no shortage of really good food. So I guess if I give you my top 10, that'd be my top 10 right there. Maybe I should just post that on the Facebook as my top 10. Somebody just said the trashy trailer park taco. Yes, at Torchy's, that is good. If anybody can tell me what that brisket taco is, I can't remember the name of it, but it's really good. And so. Oh, and Joanne Hartnett says, do they ship? I don't know. I managed to get a brisket out to those guys from Thorndale, and yeah, but it ain't cheap. But I mean, I did it. Joanne was actually, you're the winner of this the contest. I think everything's shipped out today or tomorrow because the Monday was considered a postal and bank holiday. Just another excuse for people to not work. But yeah, so your prize will be shipped out, and everybody else who's expecting things that it all should be have shipped today. If not, it'll be tomorrow. It says, any stories of Dogman fighting with Gugwee? I don't think so. I mean, how could you tell? I mean, you know. But all this talking about food, man. Somebody said Grandy's. Ugh. Oh my God. Somebody said Marvin is extremely riled up tonight. Who cares? I don't care. Let him rage until Hades falls. I mean, anyway, yeah, Texas is king in barbecue. Ethan, you were darn right about that. Let me tell you. A lot of good places to eat. If you're ever down there in the Stockyards area in Fort Worth, I got a list of places to go eat over there too, man. Believe me. I'm a big guy, and I used to love to eat, and I can tell you where to go. There's some good places. Risky's, good place to eat. It's not Austin caliber, I don't think, or Central Texas caliber. It's not Louis Miller and Taylor or Thorndale, but it's pretty good. I like Risky's. I did like Cooper's until there was so much salt in it, it made me freaking almost have to go to the hospital. But Cooper's is usually pretty good. But I think one day somebody just put too much salt in the sauce or something. But Cooper's is pretty good up there in Fort Worth. It's got some good food. El Phoenix in Dallas. That's a good Mexican restaurant. I like that place. I know they have it at the casino in WinStar. They have one. There's a this is in Oklahoma, but it might as well be in Texas. It's right on the border in Durant. And if you ever go to the Choctaw Casino, they have a steakhouse called 1832, which is like pretty darn good. Fleming's Steakhouse here in Austin, right across in the Domain from where we live, is pretty good. But yeah, believe me, I got a lot of places you can go eat. Believe me. So, anyways, folks, it's 10:30, and we started this thing at about 8. We got about 2.5 hours in. So somebody said, Chris Cliff, how does Whataburger compare to these restaurants? Whataburger for a chain is pretty good, but I would put P. Terry's, which is a local Austin burger chain, up against Whataburger any day. P. Terry's is good. They have smaller burgers, But you can get them double, triple. It's almost like In-N-Out mixed with Whataburger. Like if Whataburger and In-N-Out had a love child, it would be P. Terry's. P. Terry's is really good. So if you want a burger and you just stop in real quick or whatever, P. Terry's has a pretty darn good fast food burger. I like them a little better than Whataburger. I don't really eat those much anymore, but yeah, and then there is some really good places to get breakfast tacos. Bill Miller's is my number one breakfast taco. I'm gonna make a list. I'm gonna compile it. So if anybody's in the Austin area, then you can, go and eat, and you'll eat good. Be wondering what to go grab. My number 2 would probably be Taco Shack. The Shack Taco or the Burnett Road Burrito is pretty epic. My number 3 would probably be Taco Deli. They have a taco called an Otto, and the Otto is good. It's very good. We also have I guess it's a chain, but I think it's an Austin-based chain, and it's called Cilantro, and it's a Korean barbecue place. But it's Korean barbecue in a style where they make it into like a bowl, and they put all the ingredients and stuff. It's pretty good. And you can eat relatively healthy there, or you can not eat healthy. They have French fries, stuff like that. And you can turn it into a burrito. Now, as far as burritos go, an Austin chain that I like is called Freebirds, and it was born in Austin, but now it's spread itself all over Texas. So Freebirds burritos, that's another one. If you're in Austin area, Freebirds is pretty darn good. So yeah, if you're in the mood for like a big giant, like really tasty burrito, Freebirds is the place to go. It's like Chipotle on steroids. Let's put it that way. And it's like everything that is done, Austin just seems to be able to do it better. And I'm not bragging just because I live here. I'm telling you, man, the food is unreal. I mean, it'll really pack on the pounds if you're not careful. And now you got to understand how much willpower I have as a man who likes to eat. I have had to slim down and take in enormous amounts of protein to be able to stay muscular and fit. But I have had to swear off a lot of this really good food. It's crazy. I mean, it's just, yeah. See, Freebirds in Houston too. Yeah, they're all over now. I saw one up I think in Dallas too. I think they're up there, or Fort Worth last time I was up there. San Antonio is my second favorite city in Central Texas. My third is Fort Worth. I'll tell you, if you're in San Antonio, okay, there's a place called Big Lou's Pizza. They have these humongous giant pizzas, but they're so good. And then they have Big Lou's Burgers right down the street, which is these giant burgers. And they have one called I think it's called the Brisket or Backyard something. And it's like this cheeseburger, like a double meat cheeseburger with like brisket on it. And it is freaking unreal, dude. I mean, it is so good. So yeah, Big Lou's, and then there's a place called Lulu's. So yeah, it's really good food. And if you're in the San Antonio area, and I believe that Lulu's is an all night joint. It used to be anyway. And really, the chicken fried steak, they have like a chicken fried steak challenge. Chicken fried steak is like this huge, like 2 normal plates of food, but it's all in one big platter. And I think they call it the Sheriff or something like that. But it's unbelievable how good it is. And there's a donut place in Round Rock called Round Rock Donuts, which is 10 miles north of Austin. And it is out of this world. They make these giant donuts, and Round Rock Donuts are just really good. And I was having a problem for a while. I was working up in Round Rock, and in the morning I'd be driving, and I'd be like, I'll just stop in and, get fatter. And so I was doing that for a while, which is really not good. And there's another place called Shipley's Donuts, and I like that they have Earl Campbell, who's a running back from the Houston Oilers years ago. He has a sausage company, and they put Earl Campbell sausage inside of like this. It's like a pig in a blanket. It's pretty epic. And so those are pretty good too, you know. And so it's hard when you know about all these really tasty places to go eat and you really shouldn't be eating it. So you have to stay away from it. And it's really hard. Dick Richard says, white refined sugar shuts off the white blood cells for 5 hours after ingesting it. Look it up. I believe it. It's not good for you. Chicken and waffles. We have a couple places, I believe, that make that too. Then there's Lucy's Fried Chicken. And I can't remember that place over there in San Antonio. But it's an all-night place, and it's so good. But anyway, I think that's what it's called, Lulu's. It's pretty good. It's right there downtown. There's an all-night. We used to stay open all night. Mexican restaurant that I used to like to go to called Mitietas, right there on Commerce Street in San Antonio, because I used to go to San Antonio all the time. And it's a pretty good place. And there's another one that stays open pretty late right there by the Riverwalk. And me and Ken Gerhard went and ate there one night, and it was pretty darn good. I forgot the name of that one, but I think my wife had like the enchiladas, and I had something in carne asada or something, and Ken had, I don't remember, but it was very, very delicious food. A lot of good Mexican food there in San Antonio. But I honestly think Austin's better. I really do. Lunatic Friend says Krispy Kreme. Ugh. Krispy Kreme corporate. No. Another good place to eat is called One Taco. So there's another good one. Good Cajun food, Marble Falls. People came after Katrina. That's here too. My buddy, actually the person that I rent this studio from, who owns a place called Smoky Creek Cajun Cafe. And it's New Orleans style food, and it's very, very good. So if you want Cajun food, we got that too. Like I said, I'll compile a list, and I'll put it up on the site, and everybody can check it out, whatever. So any more questions before we get out of here? Everybody talking about food here. Well, mostly me. But anybody got any questions? Everybody ran to go grab something to eat, probably. Skinwalker Cabela's. Okay, you know what? I'm going to tell that story next week. Next week on the if you guys remind me next week on the Shotzi, thanks for your donation. Appreciate that. Next week, if you guys hit me up and remind me on the live stream, I will tell the story of the skinwalker that I believe was a skinwalker at Cabela's. I'll tell that story. Ryan just said, I got to cruise on over to Marvin's stream. This stuff is getting way out of hand. No. Folks, why should we stoop to that level? Why do we need to, it just never ends, dude, with these people, dude. Kano says, he said that last week. I really mean it. All right. I really mean it. Ethan says, what's your number one weekly food dish, Josh? It's boring. I don't eat a lot of unhealthy stuff. I would probably eat a lot of protein shakes. I go to this place called TFN Nutrition. It's freaking awesome. It's a lady. She's from Germany. She was an Olympic athlete, and she is very big on fitness. Look it up, TFN. She makes the best healthy wise protein shakes. It's great. I mean, they are awesome. She makes them like with all natural ingredients, and she can tell you anything and everything. When you give her something, hey, I have this problem, she'll give you a holistic cure. I mean, it may not cure you 100%, but it'll it's crazy. So yeah, just it's really good. That's probably my main go-to source of food is just eating protein shakes and eating. My friend Arash will make turkey leg. He's such a good friend. And I've covered his dogman encounter. He had a dogman encounter, and what may have been his skinwalker, we don't know what it was. But he owns spinners, and he has a really, really crazy story. Like, if you ever go in there and you talk to him, he may not be willing to talk about it. I don't know. He might tell you. I don't know. His joint is kind of haunted too. We've had some weird stuff happen. As my friend Anthony Sheridan, who owns Smoky Creek Cafe, we had some weird stuff happen in there one night too, where we were there leaving late. And the ceiling fans were like moving by themselves, and then they stopped, and we were like, "Whoa, what was that?" It was just weird, and then they started back up again, moving like in different directions. Somebody said, "Ryan, this guy's unstable, unhinged. Please be careful." Yes, I'm serious. What's going on here? Who cares about this dude, man? Who cares about Mushmouth, dude? I don't give a crap about this dude. Okay? Unless he shows up in Austin, which would be completely ridiculous, and it'd be a very bad idea for him. Very bad idea. I'm not going to be friends with him, just I gotta pay him attention. Just pay him no mind. Just ignore the guy. So, anyways, we'll talk about it next week. But anyways, like I said, I eat the turkey legs. He makes mine with olive oil and black pepper, and he doesn't put any of the spices and the Cajun seasoning or any of the salty stuff on there. And I just eat it like I eat it like that. And I will eat. My friend Casey, who's a DJ, he will make chicken wings and different stuff. I eat he makes hot salsa that I could eat that has no sodium. I eat like saltless chips. My wife makes me like ground turkey, chicken breast, stuff like that. Healthy versions of stir fry. She'll also make me healthy versions of nachos with like low sodium, cheese and stuff like that, because I don't eat much dairy. So, anyways, that being said, yes, exactly. Ignore Marvin. Let's just ignore it. Let's just not even, let's just go in another direction, folks. Homemade flour tortillas. Sharon Lane. Yeah. Believe me, my mom, I miss her fideo and arroz con pollo, her homemade tortillas, the carne guisada. And her fideo was out of this world. Her pasole. People don't understand. They don't know what that is. It's really good. But luckily, one of my sisters still makes it. So, anyways, good night. God bless everybody. I appreciate you showing up. Thanks for popping in and listening to us gab. We will do more research. I have more stories. I mean, like while I was gone away for about a month, I was still getting stories, and it was weird because people would tell me, "Hey, sorry, my condolences," and then they would, send me a story, or they'd say, "Hey, you want to hear a story?" And I was looking for anything to keep my mind occupied, which is one of the reasons why I came back too. And I would just, read the story, and I'd be like, you know what, that's a good story. I'm going to, file that away. Got some really good ones. Got one yesterday that I was just looking at that I was thinking, man, this is a good story. I gotta get this one out there. But be looking for the Friday drop episode. It will be about alien abduction, and it's pretty frightening. And Dogman, there's one of the stories they do make an appearance. So if that's your thing, check it out, and we'll see you on Friday, then we'll see you again next Tuesday. Skinwalker story of Buda. Remind me, okay? If you come on here and you remind me, I'll definitely, And if anybody needs anything, you need help, you want to talk, if I have the time, if there's anything that I can do for anybody, hit me up. And I'm a pretty approachable guy. And I'll see you guys later. Don't forget to hit the like button and to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like. We're almost to 14,800. We're just a few shy of that. I'd like to get to 15,000 soon on the subscribers. And we would like for you to join our Facebook groups and, just be a part of the Paranormal Round Table experience, become a paratrooper. And don't forget, we have a store. You can buy everything from pillows to phone cases to shirts to hoodies, whatever you guys want. We're looking at some different colors and designs. Now, if there's a particular color or design that you can't get from the main store, talk to us about that. Maybe we can help. Maybe we can, maybe we can't. I don't know. I'm about to order a batch of shirts for me from some styles that I like, from colors that I like and I want to wear. But yeah. Oh, and everybody was wondering about the shirt. That's Megatron. I have an Optimus Prime one too. My wife bought me some really cool shirts, man. 80s tees, really cool shirts, man. They got G.I. Joe and Transformers, Thundercats, whatever you can think of. But from everybody here at the Paranormal Round Table studio, which is just me and my nephew who's now asleep because he's been doing the training with the MMA and all that. Everybody, my wife listening at home, and hope and pray that she starts to feel better, and she's going to come in hopefully next week and sit in and be a part of the live stream. So everybody say a prayer for her. Her health is not the best. She tries to be positive and do the best she can. She's a sweet person, and everybody say a prayer for one another. And honestly, folks, let's say a prayer for Marvin and even the other guy, because my life is fulfilled. I'm not an angry person. I'm not. I'm happy. I lost my mother in May, and that still hurts. I've good days and bad days. I had a really bad day a few days ago. I think it was Saturday. I was kind of thinking about her, and it hurts. But I know in my heart that I'll see her again. She was a God-fearing woman, and she's in heaven, and I'll be there one day, hopefully. God lets me in, and so let's just pray for our enemies, people that do the things they do. We don't know what's going on with them in their lives and what the heck, why they do what they say and why they say what they do. And, that's all you can do is just pray. And those people are going to be the way they're going to be. And all you can do is just pray for them. And maybe you can pray that your enemies aren't your enemies anymore. It doesn't mean you have to associate with them. It just means that you don't have to be at war with them. David Barnes, I'm down with some carnitas. I'm always down for that, but got to watch the salt and the blood pressure. So, everybody, good night. Take care of yourselves. If anybody is looking for a workout routine, though, that you might want to figure out, like if you want to lift heavy, or if you just want to just put on a little bit of muscle or whatever it is you're doing, I got some pretty good different workout routines I could show you. And then you can tweak it. So hit me up if that's something you're interested in. And if I have the time, maybe I can show you what I do or tell you. And anybody who wants to get together and talk about your experiences, or if you think you want to come on the show and talk, we can maybe arrange that too. And all right, guys, I'll see y'all later. Had a good time.